Oh, Shitty Mouth Lounge episode number, what is it?
213.
213. Goddamn, I thought we'd made more progress since episode 200. Then again, it's been a slow 6 months for me, so... Bleh. Addy!
Yes.
Says nothing. Oh, there he is. God damn it. The one time he says something. Pink!
Hey!
Oh! What you got coming out on the channel this week?
This week I've got more of the Dead by Daylight and more of the Civilization 6.
Okay. Atty!
I have
Anything?
nothing.
Okay.
Good day, sir.
I don't have anything in particular planned for my channel. I do want to get some Dead Rising stuff going because that's simple and easy for me to do, and it's easy for me to take a load off, even though I'm playing the game as hard as possible. Ain't that weird how there are some games where it's like, oh, I need to kick back and relax. I'm going to play my favorite game in the hardest, most stupid way possible. If I can get that together, the thing is, last time I did a Dead Rising video, I promised that I would go through and do the Zombie Genocider achievement in between recordings. That way I could have access to the real Mega Buster next time I do a recording. But, like, holy fucking shit, that is just hours of driving back and forth through tunnels full of zombies, plowing them over. I've done that once before. I can do it again, but it's just so time-consuming. I ought to just fucking do it while I've got a textbook for school open on my lap and just reading that while I drive around killing zombies.
If it works.
So, if it works,
yeah,
that might be a solid idea, yeah. I also may do some Warhammer 3 videos chatting about some of the stuff that's been revealed lately, which, holy shit, there's been a lot. At the same time, it would probably just be a fucking recording of me on webcam going, hey, there's been some cool shit. I don't have pictures of it because I haven't been doing this for a long time, so Creative Assembly didn't send me an advance copy, but hey. I'm honestly kind of thinking, like, man, if I was more on the ball, I could have been there. I could have been a contender. Because that fucking Gunpowder Formations video is up to 24,000 views right now.
Nice.
That's a decent amount.
Yeah. I want to do more videos. I actually did have a commenter just today say, like, hey, you should make more formation videos. And it's like, well, Warhammer 3's a month away, so I don't want to make a Warhammer 2 video now. And like a couple days later, oh, hey, Warhammer 3, that shit's now obsolete. Great.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my content on my channel is really right now just waiting for Warhammer 3. Regardless. Addy, what is coming out on the group channel?
So on the group channel we have episode 4 of Spider-Man.
Alright.
Then part 8, I can't fucking tell. It's the monitor's too far away and I can't tell the numbers apart. I think it's part 8 of Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
And then the first half of Pink and I playing Schoolgirls, where he learns to fear chairs.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Okay. I understand funny.
And I think that's it.
All right. Pretty fun week then. All right. Pink, what you been up to for the past week, man?
Heck if I know.
Has the moving process been fun?
Oh yeah, I've greatly been enjoying it. You know, moving stuff around, packing up stuff, cleaning up stuff, getting ready to paint stuff. It's a blasty blast, is what it is.
Oh wow, you guys are even painting?
Eventually.
Oh Jesus, painting the old house or new?
Old. We gotta move to the new house in order to paint that one, and they'll probably want to paint that one too. So you know, it's gonna be a fun time.
Okay, so you fucked up the walls so bad that they need to be painted?
No, they're just, well, maybe that's what they think. I don't know. My walls are fine.
Oh, you do have little kids in the house, don't you?
Yeah, there's like plenty of spots along the hall walls and in the downstairs living room that I'm sure has been markered or sharpied at one point. So, if you're going to paint some of it, you got to go ahead and paint all of it. That's just how it works.
Yep.
But, yeah. I don't imagine they'll be painting the entire house. At least I hope not. If that's what they're wanting, then I hope I'm not part of that. Oh yeah, it's work, but it's gonna be worth it once I get out of here. So I'm excited.
Finally getting out of Oregon. You've been wanting to do that for a while.
Yeah. It's just like 6 years ago, I think I got in Oregon. Like 6 years ago, I wanted it out, and here we go. Finally going.
I gotta say, moving to a place where you won't be freezing your ass off, I'm more than a little bit envious right now.
Yeah. I'll finally be kept at normal temperature now. Like, despite the fact that I've been here for 6 years or however, I'm still acclimated to the South Carolina heat. So I think a transfer to Texas will be just fine, and I'm more than happy to not freeze my ass off in the winter. That'll be fun. I'm a small man. I freeze easily.
I mean, the thing is about living in the northern states, people are always like, oh, but I want a white Christmas. You never fucking get a white Christmas in the northern states. It doesn't snow on Christmas. It snows in January and February. December, you just get cold. No snow, just cold.
I would agree, except this year, or the previous year, technically, we did get a white Christmas, actually. Not until the middle of the night or whatever, but it was still technically on Christmas, so I'll give him that.
You must be the one person south of the Canadian border that got one.
Yep.
I don't think I can't recall ever having a white Christmas. And I lived in Indiana for 18 years.
Yeah. They're probably pretty common up in the northeast, because I know like New York and above, they get like ridiculous temperature drops in the winter, like starting in October. But I don't know what their situation is. I just imagine if there's ever going to be a white Christmas, it's got to take place out there.
Probably, yeah. Regardless, what else have you been doing this week?
What else have I been doing?
I've been seeing a lot of Hades from you on stream.
Yes, this is true. I've been playing a little bit of Hades in my downtime. Been having a lot of fun with that on both Steam and the Switch, because Steam is still in the baby mode and I've not unlocked everything, but my Switch, oh boy, I just got around to upgrading the weapons to their different aspects. A lot of fun in there. Lots of fun in there. The aspect of Achilles is probably my favorite thing in the game, because it's so buttery smooth and I love it.
Remind me which one that is.
That
I
is
use the other spear aspects.
Yes. Hitting your special button throws the spear, obviously, and then hitting it again will have you rush towards the spear, dealing damage along the way.
So that is a good one.
Yeah, it's very good for getting those sweet backstabs.
What does the aspect of Zagreus do with the spear?
That is a good question. I want to say it was critical chance, but once I got ready to say that, I'm pretty sure that's not what it does, because that's what the bow does.
Yeah.
So,
the aspect of Zagreus always does something just boring stat-wise. It doesn't actually really change it.
Right. You know what? I will have to look that up in a second. Let me grab my mouse, because my phone is way over on the other side of the room, and I don't want to get up and grab it.
Here's a fun little thing. I don't know if you'll ever get to see it if you're using the aspect of Achilles, so I'll just go ahead and throw it out. If you use the aspect of Hades against Hades, he'll actually comment on it.
All right, I like it. So far, I've already been able to run through it again all the way with the aspect of Achilles, so I definitely want to try out the aspect of Hades next, because the spear has probably been my favorite weapon since I started playing with it. So I'm definitely going to try out all the variations on that one.
Yeah, the aspect of Hades is, of course, a bit different. It's much less maneuverable. You're not going to be getting near as much capability to get out of bad situations. but it's going to be a lot better for crowd control and just generally being kind of more of a slow, stable, defensive kind of fighter. And when I used it, at least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is simple. It's just special damage, range, and speed goes up like 10% for every blood thing you put into it. I knew it was something boring, but that's even worse than I imagined.
If I want to enhance the special, I'll just pick the fucking aspect of Achilles.
Uh-huh.
Have you unlocked any of the hidden aspects yet?
No, those are still hidden for me, unfortunately.
Well, I believe once you get one of the once you get the other spirit, all the spirit aspects unlocked, I believe you can go and chat with Achilles, and he'll let you in on the spear. But I don't know how to unlock the hidden aspects with the other weapons.
All right. I like.
But of course, Achilles will be the one to help you with the spear.
Yeah. That makes sense.
No, that was not a gay joke.
Oh, what else? What else have I done with that though? I did manage to beat. I was about to say Zeus, Hades with every weapon at this point. I've only gone back through it again with the aspect of Achilles and the aspect of. Which one was it? Not the adamant. Wait.
If you've beat Hades 7 times, then you've probably beat him as many times as I have now, which means I need to get back into it and beat it.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm probably up to 7, 6 or 7. I'm very close to that. How many basic weapons are there? There's the sword, the shield, the spear, the gun, the fist. So that's if I'm not mistaken and forgetting anything, that's 5 off the bat. Then I've gone back through with the aspect of Achilles, and once more with a little, what is it? That contract thing. One of those things active.
Yes.
So that would be 7.
Boy, it is funny how Hades is very much one of those games where you beat the game and it's like, okay, now the real game begins.
You beat the game. Congratulations. Now you have to actually beat the game. Good luck.
Yeah. That is like that. I have to assume that I have to assume as far as we are in that game, there's no more mechanics to unlock. But goddamn, for a good solid like 10 hours, it just seems like every like half hour you're getting like, oh god damn it, there's another mechanic.
Yeah. It's like I'm just now getting to the point where I've actually unlocked all their boons, or I've played through with all their boons. There are still plenty of the gods that I haven't gotten all the boons with. Like,
oh yeah,
Dionysus. I ignored him for quite a while because I didn't think he was very good. And then Poseidon was another one who I felt really kind of polarized with because I didn't like the fact that all his boons kind of gave you the extra pushback, and I thought it would be better to be up close and personal when I'm wielding like a sword or something. But the more I played through it, and the more I played through with him, I was like, wait a second, he actually might have my favorite boon effects.
Yeah.
And yeah. Him and Demeter.
Get loads of those those knockback boons plus the wall bounce buff boons, and just play pinball with everyone. Fuck them up.
Yeah. And then the Razor Shoals as well have been coming in clutch because it's just smack them once, walk away, and they're already taking damage as you're walking away, so you can concentrate on other things that need tending to.
Yes, Razor Shoals is really good against the enemies that you have to just poke repeatedly rather than full on go nuts on. Like the big rats once you get to the surface temple. Those guys you can't really go nuts on because the damn acid pools. But Razor Shoals is great because you keep poking them and they just keep hurting themselves.
Yep. Poseidon, yep. Probably my least picked boon way back in the beginning, and now he's my kind of go-to if I want to actually make it all the way to Hades. Been
Yeah.
very fun experimenting with everything. This game is just top tier. I can't stop playing it. I'm playing it right now, actually. No, I'm not. But I'd like to be.
There, Hades is a lot like there are some games, Hades, Guilty Gear. I'm trying to remember a few others. Well, I'd say Total War Warhammer as well. Games that you just keep going back to because there's so many possibilities to experiment with. You know?
Yeah.
Like, even if you've got all the story content for Hades done and all this shit unlocked, you still want to go back because it's like, what if I did this boon with this weapon and this memento or whatever they're called?
Mm-hmm. It's like the combinations are so many.
Yeah. All right. Have you done anything else this past week, Pink?
I don't believe I have. That's been the extent of it. Packing, Hades. I played Dead by Daylight last night, and that's about it. I did, yeah.
All right. Well, for one, we recorded fighting games are this week, and I said that I don't know why but my throat is being hoarse. I don't fucking remember exactly what I said. Turns out I was sick. Like I was getting a fever while recording.
Well, that's no good.
Yeah.
Alex, what do you do to the man?
I sent him the COVIDs.
Well, that was mean.
Yeah, through
It
the
was a little
internet.
package.
WWE used 5G to give me COVID.
Oh, I sent him an entire 5G tower in a little envelope.
Yes. It was a really small parts, and it came with instructions to assemble it. But yeah, so that I freaking struggled with that yesterday, and I'm fine, or at least I'm close to fine now. You can still probably hear it on my voice. I think I'm not sure. Probably.
Little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So that, and speaking of fucking illnesses, I guess, or whatever you want to call them, my knee's getting better, so that's cool. Like
Good.
I can force to actually step on it now. It hurts, but you know, it's something.
Yeah.
So I don't need crutches to walk anymore. It hurts if I overdo it. And then as for actual like entertainment stuff, well, I didn't draw all that much, and I'm not in a position where I can easily send the one drawing that I made anyway. So hey, let's just leave it at that.
All right.
And as for video games, I managed to gather money, and I bought a couple of games.
All right.
So I bought Dust and Elysian Tale on PS4 as well, so we can record it. So
Very cool.
So once Spider-Man or Persona is done, then that may be what we're doing, Pink. Although it may be an all three of us thing, because Dust is also very much inspired by Castlevania, so W may like those parts.
I can definitely sit in for a few sessions and just make it a casual thing.
Yeah, you could check it out to see if you're interested. And then I also bought the Ezio collection for the PS4, so we can record it, because it's come up like every 3 months, I want to say. Since my Xbox broke down, it's come up every 3 months that we should record the Ezio collection. So I was like, yeah, fuck it. So far I've paid $30 for the Ezio collection 3 times. Yeah, because I bought the. Oh no! It wouldn't have been $3 or $30. It would have been.
You didn't wait for a sale?
No, I did.
Oh, okay.
But no,
I was about to say, you madman.
I paid let me see. I paid $50 for the Ezio collection 3 times, because I bought the originals for $10 each, I think. And then I also bought the actual Ezio collection release on the Xbox One for $10, and then I also bought it for the PS4 now for $10. And then I also own a PC copy of Assassin's Creed 2, so I own that game 4 times. But yeah, that's that's a thing. I also bought 3 months of PS Plus.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, so that may open up some possibilities. And
Yes.
then one game that I am literally, as we are recording this, I am in the process of finishing, is Persona 5 Strikers, which is one of the free games this month with PS Plus. And
Ooh, all right. How is it?
so I'll start off by saying this. You can download it, but you should redeem it so you can download it once you have internet.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's something you keep forgetting with the PS Plus stuff, that you don't like, need to download it necessarily.
No, I know I don't need to download it. I've actually
Okay.
been going in and redeeming things. I
Okay.
haven't redeemed January's games yet, but I haven't been, terribly on the ball with a lot of stuff like that while the internet's out.
Yeah. So Persona 5 Strikers is made by freaking, I want to call them Omega Red Productions, and that is close enough, but not really. It's Omega W, the people behind the Musou games for
Dynasty Warriors.
Koei. Yeah. But technically not just Dynasty Warriors, because they also make Samurai Warriors and Warriors Orochi, and basically any other crowd fighter game with warriors in the title.
One Piece Pirate Warriors.
Yeah, I think that's them as well. And also Hyrule Warriors. There's at least another
Berserk
one.
Band of the Hawk.
Yeah. There was the one with like Child Nobunaga or something like that they made.
What the hell?
Yeah, and there was also like a European one that I don't remember the name of.
Two. There were two. They did one for the Trojan War, Heroes of Troy or something out like that, and they did one for the 100 Years' War as well. Weirdly enough.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the one for the 100 Years War.
Yes. And to represent that, Joan of Arc and Achilles are both still in Warriors Orochi.
Yes, and Joan of
Even
Arc,
though even though their games never got any sequels.
yeah, Joan of Arc sucked in Warriors Orochi 3 at least. Like not even as a character from like a playable character standpoint, just as a actually how she's personified standpoint. Because they made her dumb. And when I think of Joan of Arc, I don't think of like, dumb woman goes back in time to save a guy who was nice to her once.
Yeah. It could just be a joke about her being a European peasant.
I guess. But yeah, so Persona 5
and she's
Strikers.
blonde.
Yeah. So Persona 5 Strikers is well, I feel like Atlas was overseeing everything because Koei got really close with their presentation, like close enough that whenever for the first, like, I don't know, I want to say 2 hours, whenever a battle started, I expected it to start being turn based.
Yeah.
Like,
is it not a little weird?
Yeah.
Is it not a little weird though that it goes from Persona 5 where an individual shadow can actually take quite a bit of trouble to kill, and suddenly Persona 5 Strikers, it's like, no, just kill hundreds of them, no problem, no trouble.
I mean, they do work around it a bit, because how they have it set up is that some shadows don't even turn, like they just stay being the overworld shadows, which is supposed to signify that they're not as strong. And then regarding one with and then
I fucking forgot Persona 5 has shadows that turn into the Shin Megami Tensei demons. I forgot about that shit.
Yeah. And
yeah,
go ahead.
You probably already know this, but in Persona 3 and Persona 4, shadows shadows have an entirely separate pool of enemies that are not personas or Shin Megami Tensei demons. Though they are a variety of weird things, like, here's a shadow table, watch out.
I think they brought that back for this game, because once again, like, not all shadows turn into the Shin Megami Tensei demons, and then there's also demons that I don't think are actual demons, unless I miss some like big Japanese myth lore. And there is on Neko Shogun, demon.
I think Neko Shogun is an old Shin Megami Tensei demon. Though I don't remember if Neko Shogun was there for Persona 5.
He definitely wasn't.
Well, in that case, he was definitely there for like either Persona 3, Persona 4, or Shin Megami Tensei 3, because I definitely remember Neko Shogun from some point. And it's just a cat samurai, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a cat samurai with a fan, and the fan is also cat shit.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. But so yeah, and then depending on which demons the shadows turn into, they can still be a pain in the ass. Like the elephant demons that are only weak to like 3 elements and then strongly resist everything else.
No, I don't remember them.
There's one fairly early on in Persona 5 from what I remember. I don't remember where they show up in the other games, but whatever. Those guys still gave me a lot of trouble because they're weak to lightning and curse damage and pretty much nothing else, including physical damage. So the issue was the only person who knows how to do curse damage is Joker. So if he didn't have freaking SP anymore, then I just had to whittle them down with physical damage. And Ryuji was very underleveled for my whole playthrough. So
Are you certain Joker's the only one who could? But by the way, Neko Shogun was in Persona 5. I just looked it up. But are
I guess
you
I missed it.
certain?
Yeah.
I could have swore that one of the party members had real. Huh. I can't. Yeah, I guess you're right. I can't recall any party members having access to curse damage in Persona 5. Haru had psych damage and nuke damage, didn't she?
Haru had psych damage, Makoto had nuke damage.
Oh, right. And Ryuji had lightning and had fire.
And Yusuke had ice.
Had ice, yes. And Morgana had wind.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah. None of them had curse, and none of them had holy either, did they?
No, that's why when I played through Persona 5, I made Joker the holy curse character. Well,
I mean,
yeah,
it is fitting for Joker to be the only one to have curse. Let's be honest.
yeah.
For his like canon persona at the end of the game to be fucking Lucifer, you know. Regardless,
yeah.
Pink is somewhere over there just twiddling his thumbs up his ass.
I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but as long as we keep jumping around the continuity of Persona, Pink won't find out the spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, it's the devil, Pink. We're talking about the devil. Kids love it. We're gonna call this shit the devil pit. And the kids will be coming and they'll buy the tickets.
Kids, the devil pit.
Will Turgot Vixen ever not be funny?
I remember. I still remember how when we first started playing Persona 5, I tried to explain the whole game to Pink as it's Pokemon, but instead of catching Pikachu, you catch Satan. It's not wrong.
It's not wrong. Well, it kind of is wrong because you can never catch Satan. You can only ever make him. You can only ever breed him, basically.
Well, it depends on which version of him, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I just don't think like Persona 5. I didn't spend much time in dicking around the later dungeons of Persona 5, but you can't run into Satan or Lucifer as shadows, can you?
No, not maybe Satan. I'm not sure.
Because I can guarantee you in Shin Megami Tensei, you will never run into Satan or Lucifer as random demons. They are always boss fights. But yeah, I've also heard like Shin Megami Tensei described as hardcore Pokemon, basically.
Yeah.
All
when are they adding the biggest demon, Vaporeon, to Megami Tensei?
Well, Porygon certainly caused lots of pain.
No, not
I guess
Porygon,
that
Vaporeon.
Porygon. Who?
Yeah, the water version of Eevee.
I don't. I don't get it.
There's this copypasta because people tried justifying I don't know what anymore, but there's this copypasta of people trying to like use science to explain why Vaporeon can be fucked by people because it's like 70% or whatever water.
Oh, is this a God of War thing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next topic.
So yeah, Persona 5 Strikers. It's it's one of those things where like it's better than most Koei offerings when it comes to crowd fighters because they actually had to because they're not making something original and instead working off of someone else's work. They had to take part of that work and make it work in their own thing, and that forced them to be creative as opposed to doing the usual warrior stuff. But yeah, so the fighting mechanic isn't like it's the fighting itself is not as varied as like say Sengoku Basara because they divide up like it's one of those things where like you could understand why they would need to make some of these mechanics relevant to only one or two characters in the whole cast. But then the two of us specifically, W, have played Sengoku Basara in this call, and Sengoku Basara keeps characters varied while also making the baseline for what characters can do a lot more just in general.
Yeah.
So like on one hand, just from like it's a step in the right direction for Koei. I just wish they took more steps.
Yeah. You mean other than Dynasty Warriors 9?
Yes.
What problem could you possibly have with Dynasty Warriors 9? Exactly. The perfect game.
Shadows.
A frame rate so low you can't play the game and find out what's wrong with it.
My favorite part of that was while they were Digital Foundry, which is a channel that does like analytics of video games and how they run on the different platforms that they are on and stuff like that. They made a video analyzing Dynasty Warriors 9, and they were like, well, okay, the game runs at 15 frames, but at least the graphics are fine, right? And then they would show the shadows, and it's
yeah. Like, no, the game looked hideous.
Yeah.
That was wow. Yeah, a good old example of good old Koei Tecmo finally steps outside their comfort zone and gets punished hard for it.
I mean, I guess a part of the issue was that like crowd fighters were never designed to be open world, and there's a reason for that because there's two ways that crowd fighters have gone. You have Koei's way of the characters. There's a lot more characters on screen, but the graphics are a lot lower in quality. And then there's what Capcom does with Sengoku Basara, where there's less characters on screen technically, but the graphics are very much stylized, so you don't really notice it being as bad. And then they also make those characters behave a lot more interesting, I guess, instead of just running after you like constantly.
Yeah.
And like when I feel like whenever crowd fighters come up, I just start sucking Capcom's dick. But Capcom's product is just better. Koei has a foothold everywhere. Yeah.
I was about to say, well, the issue you haven't got to say here though is The problem with Dynasty Warriors products is yada yada yada. The problem with Sengoku Basara is there ain't been one in 10 fucking years.
Not 10 years. Let me check. In 7, no, 8 years, I think. But yeah, there's a bigger issue with Sengoku Basara. Sengoku Basara is only released in Japan. Like, regardless
Not
of,
entirely true.
well, okay, 1 and 3 got released in the West.
Yeah. The one under a very different name and style.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think I'm watching the ending of the game. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, so yeah, yes, this is the ending. Okay, cool. So, Persona 5 Strikers. I don't know exactly who was the writer. Like, if if the writer was from Koei's side or from Atlas's side. I'm gonna assume it's from Atlas's because they captured and continued the characters pretty good, not thoughtlessly. Like Futaba got flanderized very hard, but aside from Futaba, it's fine. Like Futaba, I don't remember a lot of Futaba's dialogue from like Persona 5, but I don't remember her constantly being like, "Yo, video games."
I mean, the Persona spin-off games always have memeier writing because by that point they aren't dealing with like Atlas's main plot line. They're just padding for time, right?
But I think this is supposed to be somewhat canon because they said that freaking that it follows both normal Persona 5 story and Royale's.
Like I'm not saying it's non-canon. I mean, it's just they make it a little sillier. Like Arena, like Persona Arena had some serious bits. We see Akechi get out of prison, and it looks like he's on the path to redemption, which is not what Persona 4 led you to believe, but regardless. But most of the cast in Persona Arena is just dicking around, you know?
Yeah.
Kanji spends the entirety of the first Persona 4 Arena thinking it's all a dream. And so he just picks fights with everyone because he thinks it's a dream, fuck it, nothing I do matters.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this game introduces 2 new characters. One of
Did I
them,
say catchy?
yes.
I meant Adachi.
Yeah, I
Though
figured.
honestly, it's the same.
I mean,
Same character, really.
Instead, the only difference is Akechi doesn't break out of prison. Akechi breaks out of the freaking the IHOP.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the other thing is Adachi's an incel, whereas Akechi has a little bit better reasons to do what he does.
Yeah.
Adachi's just an incel.
But yeah. So.
And I haven't put that much time in Royale, but my understanding is Royale doubles down on, fuck it, Akechi ain't redeeming himself. Am I right?
I wouldn't know. I haven't bought Royale. I never freaking had the chance.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, it's partially I didn't have the chance to actually buy and play the game for myself, and also I'm not watching someone else play for 200 hours just so I can figure out where it differs.
If I wanted to spoil myself on it, I'd just read a fucking plot summary.
Yeah.
Give me the Cliff's Notes, please.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do with a lot of TV shows. That's what I did with Sopranos and with Breaking Bad. And I did it with Game of Thrones, and that's what convinced me to actually watch Game of Thrones.
Ah.
But yeah, so there's 2 new characters. One of them is Sophia, who is an AI. And when I saw her, I just got like I didn't play Persona 3 any versions of it, so I don't remember if Labrys was bad. I don't even remember if Labrys was from 3 or 4, honestly.
She's not from either. She was a new character for Arena.
Okay, cool. So I can hate her because I did see all that she had to offer. Labrys
Yeah,
sucked.
a funny accent alone does not make a character.
And yeah, so when I initially saw Sophia, I was like, oh no, Labrys. And thankfully, she wasn't completely that.
All right.
So the thing with her is that she's an AI, and her thing is that she needs to help humanity, but she also has amnesia. And because she's an AI, she doesn't know how emotions work. So her whole arc is getting a heart because she's the Tin Man, you see.
Yeah, we get those storylines a lot in video games for some reason.
Yeah, Labris more or less had the same storyline.
Yeah.
Yawn.
Then the other character is Zankichi Hasegawa, I think, who is a public security policeman who was sent
You're
to.
gonna stop and just say a police.
He is a police, yes,
This man is a police. I don't know how to feel about that.
and he was sent
I'm
to.
thinking I should get a job and become a construction.
Uh, but yeah, so he was sent um to arrest the Phantom Thieves, and then eventually he gets them on board to work with the police. Which, okay, I don't think
Band?
what thing.
I asked if you were talking about the band.
Ah,
Ignore
yes,
me.
yes.
Fucking Sting shows up.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that seems like a way of trying to deal with a lot of people's critique of Persona 5, which was, hey, the Phantom Thieves are actual criminals, but at the same time, it kind of misses the point of Persona 5, which is the Japanese government's kind of fucked up. Like, the
then
Phantom Thieves kind of should be
I'll get to
criminals.
that. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. So yeah, Zankichi is pretty great. Like he's a very good comedic character for the first part, and then as the game continues, you get to find out more about his personal life and then stuff. And then Zankichi proves that people over 18 can also get personas. So my question now is,
Uh,
why the fuck is Sojiro not playable in this game? Give him a pen,
but
he'll figure it out.
people over 18 have always been able to get personas.
That was I mixing it up because I feel like one of the earlier games, like I think it was a version of 2 that was like, hey, once you become an adult, you just lose your power to freaking see your persona or whatever the fuck.
The final boss of the first Persona was like an evil businessman who had Nyarlathotep as a persona, and then the final boss of Persona 2 is Adolf Hitler with Nyarlathotep as his persona, though really it's closer to Nyarlathotep having Adolf Hitler as a persona.
Yeah, I was about to say like Adolf Hitler had German engineering as his persona.
But the other half, the back half of Persona 2, Persona 2 2, is about a bunch of like people in their early 20s with their personas. So no, I mean, it's a fairly common ask for people to want Persona 6 to be college age kids instead of high school age kids with Personas, but they've kind of already done that, but not really with the second half of Persona 2.
Yeah. And I'll tell you the same thing I said to Aaron when this came out during the Persona 5 recording. They should make a persona where it's all like 40-year-old businessmen that are drunk off their ass.
Japanese salarymen?
Yes.
Oh.
That would like the Japanese salaryman rising up to try and change working conditions could be an interesting setup for Persona, in my opinion.
Boy, one of them could be real strong if it's that one Japanese salaryman who, like, you ever seen that gif of that Japanese salaryman who did, like, a super crazy Street Fighter 3 parry offhandedly while on his phone in the other hand?
No, but I
And he's
can
clearly
no, but I can believe that
the
happened.
arcade was on break.
Nice. But yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can find the GIF. You
All right.
Pad for time.
All right. So a lot of how these games story and its enemies or whatever is structured seems like they were trying to address people's complaints with the story of Persona 5. because none of the so instead of palaces we have jails, and instead of palace rulers we have monarchs, which are kings. Like, and I played the game with the Japanese dubs. They just call them kings, regardless of gender.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these monarchs, they none of them are evil, and the game even point like they point this out multiple times. Hey, unlike Madarame or what's his face, Mr. Chin, all of these people, none of these people have been complete assholes. They're just being used by someone else.
Well, who's that someone else?
God.
I knew it!
And then these jails, they're like palaces. In that they're in the cognitive world and shit like that. But they don't disappear because of God. Like these are
This is very complex.
these are technically actually big spoilers, but at the same time I'm keeping things just vague enough that you won't be able to figure this out until until you're near the end of the game anyway.
I'll be honest, we could complete the game. I probably still wouldn't know what's going on.
So in my quest to find a GIF of what I was looking for, I did not find a GIF of that, but I did find a GIF of Kenny Omega doing the ultimate atomic buster from Street Fighter 4 to a blow up doll. So I didn't know I had I didn't know I had any respect to lose for that guy, but I lost some right there. Japanese audiences paid to see that shit. Why?
Yeah.
That guy's the fucking worst.
Yeah.
And what pisses me off is I know there's going to be something stupid with Street Fighter 6 involving him. Like they'll get him to voice Ken or something stupid. Especially since Ruben Langdon went and lost his mind.
He'll be like he'll just straight up be in the game. He will be the Ken to Luke's Ryu.
Oh God, no. No.
That or they'll give Rose a Kenny Omega skin.
Well, that would be so stupid. If it's just a skin, I can deal with it, right? But I feel like if they wanted to put a Kenny Omega skin on somebody, they'd have to put it on one of the fucking Shotos, since he insisted on doing the Hadouken as a move for the longest time. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yep. But
yeah. Anyways,
so I had some very funny moments with this game because of how the characters played. Like I didn't like how they set up a lot of the characters, except for one, and it led to great moments, like all of the Phantom teams going, oh, we can't beat God because God is using freaking like moves we can't compare to, and they use Casey Direct. I'm going, foolishness, God, foolishness. So yeah, they actually just gave Yusuke Virgil's fucking moveset, and it's as broken as you'd imagine because it's Virgil.
Yeah, I saw some of the recordings of that. Yes,
like the only thing he doesn't have, the only thing he doesn't have is summon swords, because I think if they gave him summon swords, they would have been sued.
Yeah, but it would be worth it.
Yeah. That should have been one of the passes they give to Goemon. That freaking that he just specially summons ice swords around Yusuke.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Yusuke was a lot of fun, even though he was severely under-leveled multiple times, because I tried to level everyone, aside from, I guess, Ryuji, because I forgot he existed somehow.
Yeah.
But I tried
poor fucking Ryuji is always the butt of the joke, even for the player.
Yeah. But I tried to keep everyone around the same level, or at least somewhat keep them up to stuff, because I wanted to unlock everyone's moveset and stuff like that, because it has a Skyrim progression where if you play a character more, than you unlock all of their moves, which I don't like, because it means
but it's still better than Skyrim's, because I mean, at least with that, it's like makes some degree of sense of having a character's progression tied to the character a little bit,
I mean, it makes some sense, but at the same time, a lot of the times the GIMP, like even the full moveset doesn't feel great, so the GIMP moveset just feels extra worse.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem of it. And also part of the problem can be like if you're in the later levels, and it's like, well, I'm not fucking picking that character who can do nothing. So there are some characters who
that's
just
what happened with Ryuji. That's kind of just what happened with Ryuji. Like I went with Ryuji around the start of the game once, because I wanted to level his moves, and then I guess I must have died, because when I had to pick Ryuji for the ending, because you have to use all the characters for the ending, when I had to pick Ryuji for the ending, the game gave me the tutorial to how to use Ryuji. So technically, according to the game, I never fucking used Ryuji aside from the ending of the game. It's great.
Don't worry, Ryuji, you got this. And all the other Phantom Thieves were just sitting on the sidelines giving a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Futaba's collecting bets as to how he dies.
Oh, and once again, I can't just overstate how useful Yusuke was, just because he is just Virgil. Because whenever Joker's moveset was kind of weird to me, because Joker's moveset was very true to how he's supposed to be an all-rounder in Persona 5, and they tried to put that into his normal moveset, but it didn't really jive well with me. So after a while, once it got to the home stretch, and I was like, okay, I'm probably not gonna unlock everyone's moves in this one run, I guess. After a while, I just went with, okay, so Joker can be taken off of the team. So whenever freaking battle sequence started, I would just immediately take a Yusuke and kill everyone immediately, because Yusuke just had that power. Like Yusuke spent I spent so long not using Yusuke that he was 6 levels under level, and he still killed everyone faster than everyone else.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Yeah. And then the 2 new characters also get their personas eventually, and they are like, how Persona 5 had the whole thing of everyone's personas are thieves, like well-known thieves.
Yeah.
So the personas for these new characters are well-known thieves, Pandora, and Jean Valjean. Yeah. There
was a little bit of Les Miserables in Persona 5 at least, so it's not that unusual in Jean Valjean's case, but yeah.
I think Sophia gets Pandora to contrast with God, with the second God that they have to face.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's one of the best parts, is that they're standing outside the room with God in it, and they just start talking like, man, we're killing a god again. How? Like, why?
When they're line in Die Hard 2 or 3 where John McClane says, how can the same shit happen to the same guy so many times?
But there was also a lot of good character moments in the game. The first place that that the team visits is Sendai, which is the city that Datamasamune what's the word I'm looking for? Like made, I guess? I don't fucking know. And Yusuke, they pretty much made Yusuke for me. Because that entire chapter is people people do something to the Masamune statue. They don't speak with the right respect. And Yusuke is like, You fucking put some respect into the one-eyed dragon's name.
The one-eyed dragon?
That was Masamune's
That sounds
nickname.
dirty.
And then the freaking the whole thing is ended with Futaba calling over Yusuke and Joker, so that they'll do a photo up where freaking where Yusuke is like they have a cutout of I guess was supposed to be Masamune and his queen or whatever, you know, his wife. And he's like, okay,
concubine.
yeah. And so Futaba's like, okay, Yusuke, you go be Masamune. Joker, you go be his wife. And Yusuke is uncomfortable with the thing, so I just made Joker. It was an option, so I made Joker say, we're on item now.
Yeah.
Yusuke just goes, okay, I guess.
Yusuke had one of the best social links in Persona 5 for just how much like that goes on.
Yeah. Now the thing is, like, they gave the like I feel like they noticed that that you like Yusuke gives off very very like the thing with Yusuke is Yusuke doesn't have a clear sexuality. So far as we know, Yusuke could be straight, gay, anything else literally. Because Yusuke doesn't care. He could be ace for all we know. And so
I'm going to say my preference is that he's either asexual or gay, because if he is either straight or bisexual, that really ruins those scenes with Anne.
Yeah.
Well, no, those scenes with Anne were bad already, but that just makes it terrible.
Yeah.
That turns Yusuke into an active, like, actual fucking pervert creep, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than just a weirdo, which is what the scenes already indicate.
Yeah, my preference is also him being ace or gay, because, you know, then I can ship him with Joker without freaking remorse.
Yeah.
But yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, they knew what they were doing, because like there's a scene where Yusuke's the boys are forced to sleep together at the top of the RV, so that the girls can sleep in the RV that they move in. And I think it's like the first or second time that they go on the move that Yusuke's like, I had to strip naked because it was so hot. And then Futaba just goes, yeah, Yusuke, you do that.
Yeah. Yeah, again, Yusuke and Futaba was also one of the best parts of Persona 5.
Yeah, they really became like they really became very friendly with each other. Like, you know, they're like, a lot of times with in normal Persona 5, it felt like Futaba was being mean for no reason, at least from what I remember. But by the point of Strikers, it feels like they've both grown into a point where they just do it back and forth, more or less. So, you know, Yusuke doesn't really do it back, but he replies in his own way because he's weird.
Well, Yusuke does it once. You remember, like, the dungeon, what was it? Shido's dungeon or whatever, when you get turned into mice and Yusuke makes some kind of horrible mouse pun. And it cuts over Futaba, and it's just ellipses. It cuts back to Yusuke, and Yusuke says, Get it, Futaba? Because we're mice? And it's just Futaba ellipses again.
Yusuke is great in this game too, because they like, there's a lot of running gags tied to him. Like, there's this running gag of him eating hot pot in every time every town that you visit. And every time he brings up hot pot, freaking Ryuji starts complaining about Yusuke eating hot pot all of the time. It's like it's funny when it, like,
yeah,
it's one of those things where, like, it's not funny the first time and they keep doing it, and it just gets funny by the end of the game, because they genuinely don't stop making that joke. Why won't they stop?
Ryuji wound up being one of my favorite parts of Persona 5, just because he seems like he'll be the dumb thug pervert character, but he's like, he gets enough moments of him just being the normal sane one that it works out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I still don't like Ryuji or Morgana, but, like, you know, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, like, I don't like those characters in Persona 5 because of where they are then. by the time of Strikers, they've all grown to the end. Like Strikers, it happens after they've all grown to the end of the game. So I actually get to enjoy them as characters. Same with Haru. Haru got to show off her character. Like I don't remember if she got to actually be a character in Persona 5 at all.
She doesn't, but there is one very, very important dialogue line you can get in the metaverse or whatever it's called that I missed entirely. If you have Haru and you drive around in the little stupid subway thing with the repeating music. Yes, thank you. One of the lines you can get is Haru will just out of the blue while you're driving around say, "Oh man, don't you guys just love the screaming sounds that the shadows make when we kill them?" And Makoto just goes, "No," and then Haru goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, Haru got to do a lot more of that in this game. Like it's in the actual story.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because like when Zankichi shows up initially, he's trying to get the Phantom Thieves to agree to working with the police, the band, and freaking like they keep talking amongst each other, and Zankichi's like, "Well, what's your problem?" And Haru just turns to him, starts smiling, and goes, "Oh, we just hate the police." And she does
The band?
yes.
Unbelievable.
She does this multiple times. There's also a thing of yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead and finish what you were going to say because I'm going to lead into a different Persona line.
Oh, you can go ahead because I was also going to lead away.
Oh, there's a line in Persona 4 where they're about to get together to do like a big dessert thing, and all the girls of the party are saying like they'll cook the best cake. No, I'm the best at cooking cake, and so on. And Rise implies that she's going to sabotage the others, I think, because she's looking to get into the main character's pants, because that's pretty whole Rise's main character trait. And Yukiko, who is otherwise like Miss like congeniality, super nice, quiet, shy, mousy, just looks at Rise and like with the most silent malice in her voice says, "I'll strike you down with one blow." And Rise just shuts up.
Nice. And then there was also this bit where Makoto and Haru are the only people who have the driver's licenses, and Makoto drives the whole way, except for one part where Makoto has back problems, and so Haru is like, "Okay, I'll take over." But throughout the whole her whole journey, Haru has been offering to help with driving, and Makoto's just like, "No, let me do the driving, please." So Makoto
and then Haru drives like crazy.
Yes.
Ah.
Haru drives them from Yokohama to Kyoto, and I don't exactly know the speed they were going with, but from the sounds they used, they straight up crashed into the policeman's house. So,
and gave Morgana a concussion.
Oh no, they're not driving Morgana because this is the real world.
Okay.
They have an RV. They borrowed Sojiro's friend's RV.
Oh. Good thing Haru's rich.
Yeah, apparently they didn't break. Like I guess nothing broke, but they did genuinely play the sound of them like crashing into the house.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That does remind me of one other thing for Persona 4, where there's a bit where you can like everyone can go riding around on motor scooters, right? Except Kanji, because Kanji's only 14 or 15 years old, despite being a fucking giant and a genetic freak. So Kanji has to just pedal really hard on a bicycle to try and keep up.
Nice.
I think that also unlocks a special move for all the party members where they try to run over the shadows with a motor scooter, except Kanji, who just very pathetically pedals in on a little bike with like a bell and everything. Then once he gets to the shadows, he just gets off his bike and then bludgeons them with it.
Nice. And there was something else I was going to point out about the Strikers, and how it handled the characters. Like, sadly, Best Girl is not in this game. She's on vacation. Well, no, she's actually not on vacation. She's holding like a seminar, I think.
Sai?
No, what's her name? Fucking hell. I keep just calling her Best Girl because it's hard to remember her actual name.
Best
The
girl.
nurse?
Yeah, the nurse.
Oh, well, she's a doctor, not a nurse.
But yeah, she's a doctor.
We can just call her Doctor. It'll probably be accurate.
Yeah.
Takemi. That's her name.
Yes.
Yeah, sadly she's not in the game. Like that's the thing with this one. Like on one hand, I understand why there only so many characters are playable because it actually has like a kind of ish story and stuff like that. At the same time, I really wouldn't have minded being able to beat Shadows with Sojiro and Tai. Like, you know,
Does Sojiro even know about shadows and shit?
Yeah.
Like, he knows about the Phantom Thieves by the end, but does, like, he even, like, is he like, oh yeah, there's just demons, and my surrogate daughter and surrogate son go out and beat them up at night, I guess. I don't know, I just run a cafe.
Well, the ending of this game was they Futaba and Joker go back to Sojiro's, and Futaba was like, so we killed another god. So I'm assuming he knows about shadows.
So what's Sojiro's reaction to that? I don't remember them even mentioning the first god of Sojiro.
I don't think they mentioned the first god. Sojiro's response this time was, fine. And then that's about it.
Oh, you crazy kids.
There comes a certain point with Persona where it's like, oh, this is past kitty antics, and just like these are superheroes. These are just superheroes by this point.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they did address that sort of, I guess, because one of the enemies in this game is Robert Downey Jr. and he is Iron Man.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's not just straight up Robert Downey Jr., but it's pretty much just straight up Robert Downey Jr. starring Iron Man.
Robert Downey Jr. starring Iron Man. I think you have that Iron Man playing Robert Downey Jr.
Fuck it, whatever. Yes. Man, Tony didn't need to take a lot of freaking. Tony didn't need to practice portraying being drunk and high.
Yeah.
But
gotta practice for that Burger King though.
Yeah. But yeah, and genuinely like that guy's a Sentai. That's his shadow.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like ways to summarize what I felt about this game. Like there's a lot of it is good. Like I really like the story progression. I guess one. Okay, no, there's a couple things that were on the more on the bad side. So one is there's 2 bathing scenes.
Jeez.
Yes, one of them is what you'd expect. Like I wish that one didn't exist because it's the second one. Freaking. I'm forgetting the term. Fuck. Chronologically, that's the one. But yeah, it's the second one chronologically, and it's the worst one out of the 2. Because the first one is both halves go and take baths with you know in their own sen, and this time the boys don't peep, and that's nothing like that. It's just Futaba, like the boys can overhear Futaba asking Haru and on about how they made their tits so big. So you know, that's still bad, but at least it's not completely pervy shit. At least assuming Futaba's not into women.
That's about what I expected.
But that's the better one because the second one is just I think a reshadow of 4, but I'm not sure. It's It's a thing where they go to an onsen, and then apparently the onsen is shared between both sexes, but because of how onsens work, both sexes can't be in the onsen at the same time, and how so the onsen is both the bath and the established the like inn that's around it to clear confusion. Like the onsen is the name of the type of natural baths that those inns are built around, but those inns are also often referred to as onsen. Anyway, so how the inn made this work is that they have a timed door that makes it so men are in during these times and women are in during those times. And what happens is that the boys get locked in while the girls go into the onsen. And of course, the girls think that they were being peeped on while the boys were trying to escape.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was distracted. What would you say at the very end?
So what happens is the boys are in the onsen and they get locked in while the girls go into the onsen and they try to escape, but they can't. So the girls think that the boys were trying to peep on them. All right.
Hang on. Discord's cutting out what I'm saying. Okay. It's kind of I barely remember because Persona, like, of course those aren't the things I'm going to remember. I think with Persona 4 it was almost kind of the inverse, though it was still the boys getting in trouble. But I think in Persona 4 it was the boys misunderstood the timetables and thought what. No, the girls misunderstood the timetables and were staying past when they were supposed to stay in. But the boys went in anyways because they couldn't tell, and so the girls thought that they were stumbling into perv on them, but no, they just honestly didn't know they were in there, and then blah blah blah. You know how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the second one could have been removed, which this was the second one, because like, you know, the futaba scene was like more than enough. But at least with that one, it wasn't the like the overtired freaking misunderstanding setup. It was just, hey, funny shit happening with these characters, I guess. But yeah, also,
Yeah.
oh yeah, going back to Yusuke, because I forgot to mention this. So the writers realized that Yusuke gives off very, very big gay or ace vibes. So you can't be alone with Yusuke anymore. Like aside from a couple of like, you know, one-on-one conversations the two of you have, you can't really go and do like confidant shit with Yusuke. It's either any of the women or Yusuke and Ryuji, the both of them. Because you know, if you're not hanging out with both of the boys, then it's gay.
I have told you about how in Persona 3 there is one night where it's only you and Junpei, and if you ask Junpei, hey, want to go raid the dungeon? Junpei's response is, nah, man, I don't want to get all broke back up in here.
Yeah.
And then freaking like there was a part where you can go on the Ferris wheel, and you can choose between taking either any of the girls in a one-on-one, or you can take Yusuke or Ryuji. So I just took Yusuke or Ryuji, and then Ryuji kept complaining about Yusuke and Joker were having a moment. No, I'm wrong. Ryuji and Morgana kept complaining while freaking Yusuke and Joker were having a moment. There was also another funny moment later when I could make a callback to this, because later on I took all of the girls as a group up to the Tokyo Tower, I think. Well, not the Tokyo Tower. It was whatever. It was a tower. It was a lookout tower. And then Sophia, because Sophia is in Joker's phone. Sophia asks Joker who he take on a date to the lookout tower, and all of the girls go, "Oh yeah, who would Joker take on a date?" And I had Joker say, "The one I love," and they go, "So it's none of us, is it?"
That's transparently just the fill in who you actually romanced in Persona 5 option right there.
Yeah.
And you picked the none of these bitches option.
Pretty much. It was great. Like there was a lot less like actual options in this game. Like if you remember, roughly 80% of the choices in Persona 5 don't matter. I'd say roughly 95% of the choices in this game don't matter.
Yeah.
And
I think Persona's pretty open about the fact that most of the dialogue is just there to see the reactions of the characters, which is why you must always pick the wackiest.
No, but it's not even that. Like I don't mean that they don't matter in a manner of like changing the story. I mean they don't matter in that they don't really change the reaction either. It's just like affirmative, but worded differently. Affirmative, but worded a third way. And those are your options.
Heh.
And it bothered me a bit because like those happened in Persona 5 as well, but it wasn't this ever present. And then also for the bad parts, let's see, because I feel like there were the worst part of the game that I think is it works against it is that this game expects you to go back. This game doesn't have a mementos. You can't just go and grind in a neutral area. So if you want to grind, you have to go back to the previous palaces, pretty much. And that was a horrible idea. Because with mementos had a weirdish layout, but like the deeper you went into mementos, the harder the enemies got and stuff like that. And you could get like rare personas and you could get rare items and stuff like that. The more deeper you went, and then the Reaper appeared and kicked your ass, probably.
Yeah.
And in this game, like, it's the issue of like, would you want to do Shido's palace over and over again? Probably not. And that's pretty much the problem with this game as well. Like the palaces were built to support the stories that they are there to have. And then once you're done with them, it's just like, okay, so I could go around all of these areas, or I could just like not. So that's how I ended up with probably a lot of my characters under leveled, because like I couldn't bother.
Yeah.
Like if there was a mementos in this game as well, then I would have probably actually grinded levels, because mementos was its own thing. But like, I have no real reason to want to go through level design that was very much like purpose built for one reason, and I have already succeeded at achieving that reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have requests still in this game. They like made gameplay challenges requests more or less, but it's stuff like okay, kill Jack Frost, but oh yeah, there's a good scene with the Jack Frost. I'll come back to that. So yeah, it's kill Jack Frost while sucking its weakness, which doesn't sound hard. But by the time I got the request, I killed Jack Frost immediately, so I didn't have time to use its weakness to kill it, because it was dead.
Get fucked, Pico.
Yeah. And stuff like this kept piling up, where like, I could go and get like more stuff for the shop that you get in the game by like killing so many of these types of enemies, by going through these parts of this one dungeon. Or I could just not. Like I don't really feel like grinding that one dungeon just to get like a couple more items. That's basically the issue with this setup. Now, as for the Jack Frost thing, there's an occurrence during the story that put up across the He Horde, where a shit ton of Jack Frosts just start marching through the dungeon, and they can't proceed.
That's okay. I like it.
Yeah, but the best part is the dialogue that you get after it, because they're like, Futaba asks, should we leave? And one of the options for Joker is hee ho. So I went with that. And in response, both Ryuji and Yusuke start saying hee ho back and forth.
I see.
Yeah, and then then I went to speak with Yusuke after that, and he's like, seeing all of those Jack Frosts gave me so much inspiration I could just yell to the heavens, hee ho!
Okay.
Yusuke is great. I love him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I've done.
For my week, I haven't done a whole lot that I can recall. Started on school. It doesn't seem too brutal this week, though I'm sure it'll get worse next week, because I forgot I signed up for 2 condensed classes, which means they'll only last about 2 months, about half the semester, 16 weeks, 16 weeks. So half the is 16 weeks half the semester? Fuck, I don't remember. Either way, half the semester, but the same amount of work condensed into those half the semester. So I'm basically going to be for a little bit doing 8 classes, I think. Yay!
Yay! That sounds fun.
Yay! Oh yeah, this reminds me. Sorry for cutting in, but I did actually want to sign up for university recently. And it turns out that the thing that I wanted to learn is just not available in this county, or like anywhere near me. So yeah, my mom wanted me to go into liberal arts instead, when I told her that that's useless.
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if I could figure out a way to use it, I would consider it. But you know. Anyway, continue.
Right. Yes. So let's see. Put some time into Miles Morales. That's a fun fucking game.
Do you yet have the swagger of the inner city black youth?
Okay. I haven't seen near as much as that reviewer said. I was expecting that Miles would be animated as like the ultimate hip hop kid. No, not really. It's I don't know where that reviewer got that from. That was weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, as if it, even just reading it alone, it was already kind of weird without seeing the context. Regardless,
you know these reviewers don't actually play the games. Come on now.
They play an hour before they move on to the next one. Come on.
30 minutes at most.
Yeah. So, one thing I should say, I'm quite enjoying the story, which I was surprised by. I heard a lot of people hated the Tinkerer. I don't mind the Tinkerer so far, though there could be a revelation later on that makes her worse. I will say there's definitely a thing going on of like the Tinkerer being supposed to be a sympathetic villain, but like her gang does horrible, horrible, horrible crimes that kill countless innocent people. And her plan is to blow up an empty building. And it's like, oh, so it's not that bad of a plan. It's only an empty building. And it's like, yeah, it's an empty building in the center of New fucking York. Holy shit. That doesn't, not big thinks there. Oh, well, where's the debris going to go? The ether?
It'll be fine. Trust the system.
It'll fall into the large ocean surrounding New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I've played multiple Spider-Man games. There is a large ocean surrounding New York City. I know this.
Okay. One thing I will say, I do not remember the skill tree being this small in Spider-Man PS4. That may be one way they nerfed Miles. I don't remember for certain. Does it just me, or do the later you get into the Spider-Man games, the more aggressive the gun enemies get? Is it just me, or is it that seem to be a thing?
That seems to be a thing in my experience.
Like it's like there's a hidden AI attack interval, like stat that gets lower over the course of the game. Because it used to be like the AI, the enemies with assault rifles sitting on the fringes of combat would attack like once every couple seconds. Whereas now, if I get binged once by a heavy enemy, then suddenly 3 enemies with assault rifles all shoot me, and I'm down to like a fucking tenth of my health in a second, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, Jesus God, I gotta get out of here. Let me go do air tricks for an hour so I can rebuild my meter and heal. Then I'll come back to you guys. Don't worry.
Oh, wait. You're nice.
And I think I said this last week, but I want to repeat it again. But it's so weird playing this game because it comes after Spider-Man PS4, and the assumption is you beat Spider-Man PS4 and you're moving on to this one as kind of a mini sequel between games. But, like, Miles really feels like he should have been the tutorial fucking training wheels characters for Spider-Man PS4. Because I remember Spider-Man PS4, if you got caught during stealth, it's, it's over. All right, we're in combat now. You can't return to stealth. Miles, no, if you get caught, fuck it, just turn invisible. Okay, we're back to stealth. It don't matter. None of this matters. So, it's just really weird. The lack of gadgets is definitely different for Miles. That does change the way he handles stealth. I do like that Miles isn't straight up better than Pete, nor is he straight up worse than Pete. He's about equal. Right?
Yeah.
Which will be fun for Spider-Man 2 when they make it where you can switch between them. Hopefully on the fly, like GTA 5. Because you can actually switch between Peter getting more gadgets and probably more stuff in his skill tree, while Miles gets the Venom and invisibility stuff. Oh, excuse me. I will say, the invisibility is just seemingly very strong, outright. It recharges for free, you don't need to do anything to recharge it, and it's like genuinely just straight up invisible. The enemies, at least as far as I am in the game, don't have a counter to it. Like, they just straight up can't see your ass. And that can sometimes make the stealth a little bit trivial if you abuse it, honestly. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 1 had the ability to become invisible at any time as the unlockable thing you get for beating the game. Either which way. There is one last thing I want to say about Miles Morales, though. One thing that is kind of feels bad, is that the last upgrade in the skill tree and the last upgrades in each of the gadget upgrade trees are explicitly labeled exclusive to New Game Plus. I don't mind having New Game Plus exclusive features. I mind having them be in the UI they're taunting you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make it a surprise when you go to New Game Plus. Make it where when you beat the game, you get a little pop-up that says, hey, now you beat the game, you want to start New Game Plus and get access to an extra upgrade in the skill tree and extra upgrades in the gadget tree? And if you hadn't seen that before, they'd be like, oh, fuck yeah, I do. Take me back.
Right?
Whereas now it just kind of feels like, hey, you aren't really playing the game yet until you've beaten it. And that feels bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. It takes the fun out of doing New Game Plus, because now it's not like something that you actually want to do. It's an obligation. Oh, you have to play New Game Plus to get the full effect of this game, you know?
Yeah, and one thing I'll also say is, there are some games who I think can get away with having a lot more stuff hidden behind beating the game and going back through, like Devil May Cry or Hades, because those games have way more replay value.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Morales, like, if I'm playing through the game again, there are some missions that are cool to see again, but, like, most of the game isn't really going to change.
Yep.
Like, Devil May Cry, you want to play through on the higher difficulties, because enemies not only get more aggressive and do more damage, but they introduce new whole attacks and shit. Hades has the same thing. Once you start taking the contracts, they change the game up like mad. Yeah. I mean, the one contract that makes each of the bosses behave entirely differently.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Have you seen what that one does for Megara?
Yep.
Ooh. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, that one ain't even time.
Yeah. It's fun, though, and you can tell that it's going to do something, because the first time the Infernal Contracts unlocks and you go and talk to Megara, Megara's like, don't you fucking do it, motherfucker.
Right.
That won't be fun for either of us. Good old family. Anyways, the other thing, let's see, did I put any real amount of time into anything? Well, there has been the Warhammer stuff, which a whole lot of it is just like stuff I just go off ranting, like, I'm having it, my dick's in my hands right now, just thinking about it. Everything I wanted is in. Best game, 10 out of 10. It ain't even come out yet. Hopefully it doesn't shit the bed with loads of glitches on release, because, I mean, holy shit, it looks fucking amazing. And the big thing is 8-player multiplayer and simultaneous turns for multiplayer, I mean, because this means I can actually play multiplayer campaigns with Soon, and it won't be the drizzling shits anymore. Because Total War Warhammer 2 only had 2-player campaigns, and it did not have simultaneous turns. So I would take 10 minutes to do a turn, while Soon had to twiddle around with his thumbs up his ass, and then we trade.
Uh-huh.
Could you imagine how hellish that would be in Civilization?
Yeah. Yeah,
we don't need to. We play Heroes 3.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true.
You are absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, like, even if I don't ever get together enough people to do 8-player campaigns myself in Total War Warhammer, it will be funny to see other people do it, just because that is a game that will probably get pretty bonkers with multiple players like that.
Right.
Especially with how OP some of the later introduced campaigns are. Holy shit. All right. So I'll just get off Warhammer 3 because I'll spend enough time talking about it on my own channel and I don't want to waste time here. So on to something that all three of us can actually talk about. SmackDown. SmackDown.
SmackDown. I see.
Yes. So this actually was a fairly solid week, I thought. A nice little mix of things. They had, I thought a fairly neat gimmick for this week was Rollins comes out and he says to Roman, well, at first they have Roman and the Usos come out, and they do their usual week in, week out routine, acknowledge me and all that, but there is a very nice little bit where they come out, and at first, of course, it's Jay and Jimmy by themselves, because Roman needs to get the big entrance. Jimmy's holding one mic, and Jay's holding two, because he's holding Roman's mic for him, right?
Right.
And Roman comes out, and while he's doing it, Jay is hyping him up like mad on his mic, just constantly going nuts, like, oh, he's the best, he's the undisputed champion, most decorated, whatever. And Roman gets in the ring, and Roman starts, milling around, and then Roman is standing there, and he just awkwardly turns to Jay while Jay is still hot dogging and holding Roman's mic still. And Roman just gives him a death glare, like, you motherfucker, give me the goddamn mic. And Jay just goes, oh, sorry, cuz, sorry. So we're already setting up a little bit. There's already cracks forming, because we knew cracks were forming with Paul, because Paul was going to always have loyalty doubts with Brock. But now there's cracks forming here, too, because Roman's getting a little bit sick of the Usos. They ain't up to snuff.
Right.
And then Rollins comes out, and he says, hey, I got an idea. How about me and a tag partner of my choice go tonight against the Usos, and if we win, then the Usos can't be at ringside for our match at the Royal Rumble, huh, Roman? And Roman kind of goes like, And the Usos ask him, all right, who's your partner going to be? And it comes out, Kevin Owens. So, fuck it, 2 guys from Raw on SmackDown. Who gives a shit?
It's ironic.
And Roman is still like, I don't like this. And Roman's not saying anything, but he's giving lots of facial expressions. And then Jay, I think, of the Usos, jumps out from behind him. We'll take it. We can beat you. And Roman again just looks at him like, you motherfucker.
Right.
So they're doing a pretty good job of, like, Roman starting to get sick of the Usos, because they need to separate Roman from the Usos if they want Roman to drop the title at some point. It has to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The Usos cannot be at ringside at WrestleMania for Brock versus Roman. Like, we know that.
Right.
Like, having bullshit at ringside kind of depletes from the big match feel, because it always is like, well, if there's a guy at ringside, either they're going to have to take the time to remove him during the match, or you're going to get a fucked finish.
Right.
Either which way. So they do all that, and that's pretty cool. And nowadays, I gotta say, they do a much better job about keeping you interested in the main event throughout the show nowadays. I remember with old Raw and SmackDown 10 years ago when I was watching a lot more regularly. it was like, okay, what was the main event again? I forget. Anyway, next match. Now they actually like have little things to remind you, hey, don't forget, don't tune out. At the end of the tonight's show, we're gonna have Rollins and Owens versus the Usos. It'll be great. So that's nice. And every now and then they cut back to Roman Reigns watching SmackDown on his monitor from his little private locker room, kind of like perving on the wrestlers, you know. They did have, let's see, what else did they have? They had Ricochet versus Sheamus for the twice in a row. Last week they had Ricochet versus Sheamus, and Sheamus beats him by brogue kicking him while he's going for the rope little handstand rebound, bounce thing, whatever. And this time Sheamus again wins because he brogue kicked him during a suicide dive, which was actually a fairly neat spot. And it's just kind of like, they really need Sheamus
broke.
No.
It should have. Like,
okay.
At least in work, I mean.
Oh, okay. Well, no, okay. He did not brogue kick Ricochet in the head during the suicide dive, thankfully, because that might have killed him. He brogue kicked him in the ribs.
Okay.
But yeah, I just kind of question the idea of the WWE Universe booking of Sheamus versus Ricochet feud. Every week, Sheamus gets a clean finish over Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
Sheamus is the heel. Why is he getting clean finishes every week? Okay, fuck it, whatever. Like, this was, I think it was just buying time because Ridge Holland was out injured and they want to put more time into Ridge Holland because Sheamus is getting older.
Right.
But, like, Ridge Holland came out and managed Sheamus this week, so it's like, why not just have it be Ridge Holland versus Ricochet? Whatever. Anyways, let's see. There was a women's match. They did Natalya versus Aaliyah again. I did mention that last week they said that Aaliyah set the new record for fastest win, right? 3.17 seconds. Right, with a roll-up, and Natalya comes out, and she's fucking pissed about that. And Aaliyah's not a great wrestler. She's new, you know? She's young and almost certainly got rushed ahead through developmental so that they could get her on for the Arab appeal.
Absolutely.
But I will say her and Natalya had a great gimmick for this match, which was constantly throughout the match, Aaliyah keeps going for the same shit, the same trick. Like, as soon as the match starts, first move Aaliyah does, roll up, schoolboy. No.
I like it.
Pulls out. Natalya beats on her for a little bit, but then suddenly, inside cradle. No. Natalya just starts getting more and more pissed, starts losing her shit, and finally, Aaliyah again goes, small package, and Natalya just gets so pissed, she starts stomping a mud hole on her in the corner.
Nice.
And the ref actually counts her out and ends the match disqualification.
Oh.
And Natalya gets so pissed from Aaliyah getting another win over her, even if it was a disqualification win, that she continues to stomp a mud hole on Aaliyah after the match is over. And then the ring darkens and they start playing theme music, and it's like, oh great, they should send out one of the face women wrestlers to save her here. It'll be a great face spot. Oh no, fucking Xia Li. Fuck. She comes out doing lame kung fu, and they do special effects of electricity coming out of her, and sort of. Bleh.
I can't even remember if she's had a match at this point, Xia Li.
She is not. At least not under the new Shang-Chi ripoff gimmick. She hasn't.
Okay. I remember she debuted like several months ago, and then I just never heard anything about that after that fact.
Well, they're pulling a Fandango. They're retconning that. The first Xia Li debut didn't happen. This is her debut.
Ah, makes sense.
You remember how Fandango first debuted as Kurt whatever, and his gimmick was he came out and did lame puns, and then Mark Henry just squashed him, and they sent him back to developmental?
Yeah. What was it? Johnny Curtis?
Yeah, and then he came back as Fandango, and Johnny Curtis was now non-canon.
Yeah.
They're doing the same thing with Xia Li, and wow, they just need to stop this shit, because, like, for one thing, the entrance is just goofy and cartoony, and it's like, get the fuck out. If Xia Li can shoot lightning out of her arms, why doesn't she just Palpatine Natalya to death, huh?
A lightning strikes legal in the wrestling ring. It's never been decided.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ultimate Warrior used it in that classic WrestleMania game. I mean,
Oh yeah, a classic right there.
yeah. Still better than Vader's fatality being him doing a hip drop with an inflated ass. Does anyone else remember that?
Barely.
Oh shit! That game was stupid. We need. I wish that we could play it somehow because it's that kind of stupid. But goddamn. Regardless, yeah. To get back to it, Xia Li slides into the ring, does like a kind of like Mickey James kick, misses by a fucking mile, but Natalia
Well,
sells
that's
it
Mickey
anyway.
James kick. Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, it's even worse because Mickey at least was pretending to go for the head, right? And it's
Right.
justifiable missing the head because you don't want to give the guy a concussion or the chick a concussion.
Right.
Xia Li's version of the Mick kick aims for the chest.
Oh,
And
She
yeah,
doesn't
Not
wanna-
the boobs.
she doesn't want to blow their implants.
yeah. Well, with Natalia, that's a serious fear now.
I don't know. I haven't seen Natalia in years, so
Oh, dude, she's getting them bigger every year. Eventually, they're going to come out of the entrance long before the entrance area, the girls' position, long before the rest of Natalia.
So are you saying Natalia is trying to get herself up to snuff so she can be the live action portrayal of Baiken?
She is actually almost to Viking levels. At least
You're not wrong.
I haven't been paying that close of attention to it, but like it's getting absurd.
I see.
Like the first SmackDown I watched in forever, when I first came back to SmackDown like a month or two ago, one of the first things I said was, Natalia still wrestles brilliantly. She needs to get those fucking implants reduced because I am not paying attention to the wrestling. I am paying attention to just how like massive her boobs are. And it's not even like a sexual thing. I remember there was a line in Parks and Rec where Jerry, who is usually the loser, butt of the joke's character, goes in to get checked for mumps, right?
Right.
And he walks out of the doctor's office and gives a big thumbs up to the camera, walks away. The doctor walks out after him, looks directly at the camera and says, "That man has the largest penis I have ever seen. I didn't even check for mumps because I was distracted by the largest penis I have ever seen." And the doctor character isn't gay. It's just like, holy shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I would genuinely say that, like, Baiken's breasts are at, like, genuinely disturbing levels. Like, on one hand, even if they weren't, I wouldn't be attracted to them because, asexual and all that. But, like, Baiken states are legitimately to a point where, like, she would, like, like, genuinely, the only use I can see for them is if she has a freaking wardrobe malfunction, she uses them as bludgeons. Like, I legitimately don't believe that anybody finds that shit attractive because they're scary big. Like, if she existed, there would be a lot more issues with it than not.
Oh, man. Anyways, to get back to it, I gotta say, Xia Li is the shits. She needs to go.
I mean, when you said the lights went out, I was expecting the Undertaker to show up behind Natalia.
What, and choke slam Natalia?
Yeah.
No. Michelle McCool is coming back for the Royal Rumble. Have Michelle McCool coming out in Undertaker's attire.
Yes.
No. Let Michelle
Have her
McCool
shoot lightning from her hands as well. It's fine.
Let Michelle McCool drive a motorcycle out. She's big evil now.
Could you imagine if her entrance in the Royal Rumble is Taker rides out on the motorcycle with her, she gets off the cycle, then Taker just goes back drives back up the ramp back into the gorilla position.
That would be great. I'd love that.
Like the idea of just going to the trouble of getting the big evil motorcycle back just so you can see it for like a couple seconds and go back to the gorilla position. Anyways. Yeah, Xia Li needs to fucking go. How long has she been with the company? Think?
It's been a few years now.
Yeah, there comes a certain point where it's like, oh, it's not that she's new, it's just that she sucks.
Right.
I haven't seen too much of her actually wrestling, but boy, what they've been showing for the bits that are supposed to hype her up do not impress.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that she's had that much work in NXT, to be honest. The matches that I have seen, I would say she's certainly not impressive, but she's Chinese, and that's a big market there. They tried to push Ho Ho Loon. Huh, what a stud that guy was.
I was about to say, like, the convenient thing is Xia Li shows up to save Aaliyah, and it's like, so we've got a Chinese wrestler and an Arab wrestler. Just wearing our shit on our sleeves, aren't we, Vince? The thing is, Aaliyah is, like, not great, but she seems to be newer than Xia Li, and more important than that, Aaliyah's got that undeniable underdog factor to her. She looks like an underdog in every match she's in. She doesn't look like a joke, because that's a delicate balance, being an underdog but not being a joke, you know? And she looks like she fits into that. And she's got great facial expressions for, oh, fuck, the heel is killing me.
Yeah.
Which, there aren't many face wrestlers nowadays who are good at getting pity from the fans in terms of, oh my god, I'm fucking dying.
Yeah, and she was heel in NXT for quite a while, and it never made any sense, because, again, to me, always struck me as a natural babyface. So
yes,
at least they got that right when they brought her up to the main roster. Finally, somebody from NXT who isn't thrown into a role that they shouldn't be in.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
What a relief.
What I'll say is Xia Li needs to go. Aaliyah, not main event potential. No. I don't see the potential for her ever being like a ring general, great wrestler.
No. Her upside is that she's still very young.
Yeah.
But she's also... I think she might have been with the company longer than Xia Li.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's still very, very average in the ring. Hardly anyone I would consider a top-tier talent in the next 5-10 years. I think she'll have a decent run with what she's working with now. I don't see any further potential outside of that. Outside of the fact that, as you noted, she is Arabic, so that is a market that they can tap into. She's a very sellable face. Very marketable baby face. So she's got decent upsides. I just can't see her being at any level like Charlotte, Sasha Banks, or Becky Lynch ever.
Yes.
I just don't see that happening. If she manages it, then by all means, good for her, and I'm very happy for that. But I just don't see that happening.
Like, I could see, like, if WWE does not misuse her, which they love to misuse people,
yeah,
she could be kept around. Like, if she doesn't improve whatsoever, she could still be kept around as a solid, like, just I guess the term is, like, a good hand, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want the fans to get shitty about a heel, have them go out and beat up on Aaliyah. You need someone to fill out a spot in a tag team match. Here's Aaliyah.
Absolutely. I mean, way back a decade ago, they kept Evan Bourne around for as long as they did until he got himself fired. Because he actually didn't get himself fired. But he did smoke weed and got himself suspended. Then he broke his leg and was out of action for like a year. But yeah, they kept him around. He was never going to be a big megastar or anything. But again, marketable babyface, easy to squeeze into those tag teams or what have yous. Always able to put on a decent showing for title matches, potentially.
Yeah. There are just some wrestlers who will have, like, one use, and they won't be, like, crazy, like, oh, put them in the main event, because main event guys need to be more diverse than that. But they have the one use, and you can always keep them around, because they can always be useful for the business because of that.
Yeah.
No matter what, Evan Bourne was always going to have money, because for one thing, he had a good look, he was in very good shape, and for another thing, he could do a shooting star press, and he had a gorgeous shooting star press.
Absolutely.
And there are some guys you just keep around for that.
Absolutely.
Let's see. The other thing I wanted to say, just while I was thinking of it, boy, does it seem like all the women in the WWE now have plastic surgery like mad?
Are you talking about anyone in particular here, or is that just something we noticed?
In general.
Yeah, A lot of very, very. I don't know what a nice word is to say it. Inauthentic looking women nowadays for some reason.
And I'm thinking, John Laurinaitis is not only still around, but supposedly with Pat Patterson dead, Gerald Briscoe fired or retired or whatever, and so many other guys now out of it. Like supposedly John Laurinaitis and old brother Love are supposed to be the two that are in Vince's ears, right?
Right.
And what was John Laurinaitis up to 10 years ago?
It all comes full circle, apparently.
I was telling my family last
People
night.
power.
I think at this point, I think of John Laurinaitis like fucking John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon. I think of as like Wormtongue and Theoden, right, from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like I imagine when Shane came in that time when he came back from the Chinese business, and he came in and John Laurinaitis whispers in crotchety old Vince's ear, "This is Shane McMahon, my lord. He is not welcome here. Tell him that he is not welcome here. You cannot trust him." I would pay good money to see that scene of Theoden kicking Wormtongue down the stairs, but with Vince and Laurinaitis instead. Anyways. All right, so let's see. What else was there? Oh, they had Viking Raiders versus Los Lotharios. Very good little match. It's weird seeing WWE have good tag teams. I'm not used to that.
Yeah, it's even better when they're not putting him in 5-man tags.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. It kind of always there's always something to complain about with WWE booking, and the thing here is Viking, like Los Lotharios, a good tag team, not necessarily like good tag team workers because they don't do a lot of tag team stuff, but like individually, both of the guys seem to be really good, and Viking Raiders are a genuinely great tag team. It's rare to see good tag team action these days, but they're a great tag team. And who are the tag team champions? Oh, the fucking Usos.
That we always forget about.
Yeah. Ugh. Like it's. Did they try and separate them while I was gone? Did they try and send one of them on a singles run?
The Usos?
Yeah.
Yes. For a while there, a year or so back, or back in 2020, I think. Summer of 2020, Jey Uso was all on his lonesome. And he had the great program with Roman Reigns.
Did it work or did it not?
I thought it worked very well. By all accounts, that's what kind of got Roman to where he is today. So, I mean, obviously, most of that is on Roman himself and not actually on Jey Uso, poor guy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I thought the stuff they put out was very good, very solid, and to me, Jey has kind of been a shining star in that early run for Roman. But go ahead.
I was no, you go ahead and finish because they're gonna lead into something else about the Usos.
Okay, but yeah, after that initial run with Roman, once Jey got put in the sideline as Roman's enforcer, they brought Jimmy back at some point, and then they just kind of had him fold into the lineup as well, which I believe occurred at Hell in a Cell of October of that year, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe sooner, I don't remember. But after that, they kind of just went back to being, quote-unquote, the Usos. Not a lot else going on there. Just kind of a prop for Roman Reigns, and now they're holding onto belts as another prop for Roman Reigns. So we all know how that goes.
The Usos have always been a prop. Even when they didn't, even when they weren't attached to a singles wrestler. They've been belt warmers, you know?
Yeah. Casually trading back and forth with the New Day.
Yeah, just to inflate the New Day's numbers. Either which way. Like, I have to ask, I don't know if you know this, because, like, I don't fucking know this because I can never keep them separate. I know both of the Usos have drinking problems, but which of them is the one that's supposed to be, like, the absolutely raging alcoholic and keeps getting in shit?
I believe that's Jimmy, who is
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the one who's married to Naomi, and he's the one with the big problem in that regard.
Damn it.
I hope I'm not getting my Usos mixed up, but I feel like I'm right on that.
I mean, they don't do anything to fucking separate them visually these days.
Nope.
One of them's got a terrible haircut, and the other one's got a worse haircut, but I don't know which. Like it's, I can kind of feel like maybe there is something to Jay, though it's hard for me to keep track of which Uso is the one. I think there might be something too, because again, they don't bother to separate them. But like the Usos have never worked as a tag team. They just aren't. They aren't fun to watch as a tag team, and they're both just utterly lacking in charisma because neither of them can really work the Samoan gimmick, and they've never really tried to work the Samoan gimmick, and they can't really do the Samoan gimmick these days because it'd be seen as more than a little bit racist.
Right. What are you talking about, man? They do the Samoan drop all the time. That's Samoan drop, obviously Samoan.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, my favorite Samoan, Tatanka.
Really, what they need to do is they need to embrace the legacy and start doing the stink face.
Oh God, see, I would like to see them do more Rikishi stuff. I would like to see Jay do more Rikishi stuff. I'd like to see Jimmy go away for a while. I'd like to see Jimmy go to rehab.
But he says no.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, terrible song.
But, like, what was I even saying? Addy, you fucked me up there. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Like, they are building on family legacy. It's just they're not building on the legacy of most of their family. It's that right now the Usos are mostly just trying to rip off The Rock, and they are not The Rock. Neither of them are. It's very lame.
Mm-hmm.
I remember me and my mom were joking last night about like whether or not the Usos and The Rock even know each other. Like, you gotta imagine they're passing each other backstage sometimes, and they go, "Hey, cousin," and Rock just goes, I liked your dad better.
cousin has really become the Rock's like dude for Hogan. So like he goes back, yeah, cousin, but he doesn't actually know who they are. He just calls everyone cousin at this point.
Yeah, you see him walk down the hallway, and then he also calls like Road Dog cousin.
Yeah. Well, not anymore because Road Dog's fired, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Screw that guy in particular.
No, the Rock's cousin got fired.
Oh, shit. This would mean war, but sadly, Vince McMahon is also Rock's cousin.
Yeah.
Family affairs are getting out of hand.
Yeah. Oh, boy. All right. So, let's see. Moving on down the line. They had a segment. Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn have been feuding for the last couple weeks. Yes, Johnny Knoxville, the Johnny Knoxville. And the new gimmick is Sammy comes out and tries to imitate some of Johnny Knoxville's stunts, but he either doesn't have the balls to go through with them or he fakes them. So this week he came out with a taser and he goes to tase himself and it plays a little noise and it's clearly, very, very clearly piped in, right?
Right.
For the audience.
And I'm sure the live audience got a real kick out of that.
Yeah, I would get out of my seat and walk out of the fucking arena.
I hate these segments where they do stuff that will clearly translate poorly, mind you, to television, but for the live audience, they're just in their chairs wondering, okay, what's the joke here? Let's carry on. This isn't entertaining. I not pay however much money I paid, like 150 plus, to get these front row tickets to sit here, watch a man play with this fake taser that I can't hear and barely see, and obviously can't audibly hear. It's stupid. I hate it. Don't make your program work for television. Make the program work for the live audience. That will translate to television just fine.
Yep. Well, I mean, you'd think they'd know that they have a problem because they only fill up half the fucking arena and have to sit them on the opposite side from the camera.
Right? I mean, I hate to go back to Natalia, but remember her fart gimmick? Somebody thought that was a good idea, which obviously wasn't from the get-go. But let's just add to the fact that that's an audio-centric gimmick that doesn't translate to a live crowd. They have this consistent problem with audio cues and live crowds and television that they want it all to mesh together, but it never does. There's got to be some other example that's on my brain that I can't think of right now. There was definitely somebody else though, or maybe I'm thinking of the graphical things they do nowadays.
Oh god, the stupid little NFL robot they have flying around.
Yeah, those types of things. I feel like they did something with Ricochet.
Remember when the worst
thing? Remember.
Remember when the worst thing they did was Sin Cara's ring light?
Yeah, those were the days.
Correction.
Back when they thought Sin Cara was gonna be a big star.
Yeah, correction.
And had him wrestle 4 people exclusively for his entire run.
I don't think they were ever planning on Sin Cara ever being big in the States. Sin Cara was there because we want a Mexican audience and Rey is getting fucking old.
And that was a decade ago. Look at where we're at now.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio, 2K22 cover star.
Rey
Tag teaming with his 28-year-old son.
Rey Mysterio is the rocks upon the eternal shore. Wash upon him and be broken.
Yeah. Rey's gonna after this one, Rey's gonna leave for 5 years and then come back with bionic legs.
That would actually be hype. Don't joke about that.
I mean, Rey was the thing that got me into wrestling, so I'd be down with it.
Yeah.
Rey is a man. He's just old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rey was the man. Oh, man. All right.
I just don't think he's been the same since he killed a guy.
In cold blood. With a freaking a Coke bottle.
In cold blood.
Well, no, I don't imagine Rey intended to.
No, okay. I don't think he did.
All right. What was I going to say? Yeah, so they do that shit, and Zayn goes to tase himself, and it goes, and yada, yada, yada. And then Knoxville comes out, and Johnny Knoxville goes, well, I've used one of these things before. It looked like you were faking it, Sammy. And, oh, look at that. It's set to off. And it's like, okay, so did Sammy just, in kayfabe, pay the WWE sound crew to pipe in the electricity noise?
I guess.
I am in pain. More pain than anyone who's ever been struck with a taser has been.
I mean, the fact that Johnny Knoxville is here at all gives me pain.
So Knoxville then goes to tase Sammy for reals, right? And it pipes in an even more fake noise.
Nice.
Like you could on TV, you could barely tell that the previous were a little piped in, right? But just a little bit. Like barely. And it was just a little that's all, right? And that's kind of fairly realistic. That's how you'd imagine the taser would work. But this time, they play the fucking like electric chair noise as loudly as possible, as long as possible, as piped in as possible. It's playing the fucking cartoon Looney Tunes electricity noise. Like the wow shit. And it's like, what the fuck? And Sammy sells it by leaning on the ropes, and Johnny Knoxville goes over and he's like, oh, don't worry, let me help you. And credit where credit is due. Last time they had Johnny Knoxville throw Sami Zayn over the top rope, because the gimmick is Johnny Knoxville's going to be in the Royal Rumble, right? Yeah. And Sami Zayn said, you can't even throw someone over the top rope, Johnny Knoxville. The last time they had Johnny Knoxville sneak up on Sammy and throw him over the top rope, but it was very, very, very obviously worked. Sammy obviously had to throw himself over the top rope because Johnny Knoxville's not strong enough to lift him. This time they got in a little more practice and they were able to actually work it properly so that it did look like Johnny Knoxville genuinely threw Sammy over the top rope. But goddamn, that segment was cancer.
I mean, when you said he was leading on rope and Johnny Knoxville walked over, I was expecting Knoxville to give Zayn a hard punch.
Sammy dies in the ring. That's how they're getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn dead at 38 until he goes to AEW.
Yeah. No, it won't be Sami Zayn that goes to AEW. It would be a Generico.
Very
yeah. I gotta say, between that segment and the Natalia segment, it's like, oh man, ain't that the wonderful thing about WWE? You prove that you're a good, solid, consistent hand so that WWE can shorthand you with the shittiest segments on the show because you're one of the only people they trust to do it. I mean, like, Natalia, I gotta say, Natalia probably has the bigger workload because she has to make two wrestlers who are kind of shitty look like they aren't shit. But Sammy's job is definitely the more embarrassing one. He's getting paid. He's probably getting paid ludicrous amounts of money, though. WWE's supposedly paying out mad amounts of money to him and Owens so that they don't go to AEW.
Zayn is getting paid in six figures. He gets two of them to be like Black Series.
Yeah.
Even.
I like the idea that WWE would cheap out on the other four action figures, though.
All these are basic. Only get 5 points of articulation.
Yeah. It's like old G.I. Joes from the 80s.
Yeah. No, it's the old freaking. Was it Matt? No, it wasn't Metal. Which one was it? The freaking the old like rubber wrestler figures that like
with no points of articulation.
Yeah.
LJN.
Oh, it was LJN. Yeah.
The big stupid rubber things you can throw at somebody and concuss them.
Yeah.
Kill somebody with those things.
They don't sell those. They make those especially so they can pay Zayn with those and then two extra figures that don't suck.
Yeah. Per year.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. I think there was another Oh, right. Okay. So they did Naomi versus Charlotte, and it was supposed to be a championship contender match. If Naomi beats Charlotte, then she gets another match where it's for the championship, which is a kind of a dumb idea.
Stop putting the champion in championship contenders matches, please.
Because it's like, okay, well, if this wasn't a contendership match and this just was a regular championship match, then I mean, like, it's fucking same difference, isn't it?
One of these days, they should do a stupid Dicky bit where the champion is in a contendership match, and then they win, and they go, "Okay, I will accept your challenge, champion."
Yeah. Like, honestly, like, let's say the championship contender match versus the actual champion starts, and they just punch their head clean off. They just punch the champion's head clean off their shoulders, like the worst squash match you've ever seen. And the reaction to that in the end has to be, okay, you've proven that you're ready to take on the champion.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fucking stupid. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so one crazy thing I noticed, oh my god, Naomi, I don't know if it's specifically just Nashville, Tennessee, because they were in Nashville. Oh my god, Naomi is fucking over. Holy shit, pop of the fucking night.
Good.
I mean, Naomi's got one of the best entrances nowadays. Like, entrances nowadays are not great because they do so much of the stupid, like, Roman Reigns hologram shit. Naomi's actually got a great entrance. The lights go out, she comes out in the crazy neon gear and all that. Like,
yeah.
That's a poppable entrance, certainly. But, like, the fans were just going ape shit for her. And it didn't sound piped in either. And if it was piped in, it would be weird for WWE to pipe in the strongest pop for Naomi, a wrestler they never make good use of.
Uh-huh.
Either which way, the match is about to start, and Sonya Deville comes in from seemingly nowhere. She just appears at ringside like instant transmission, and when it happened, I just asked, was she hiding under the ring? What the fuck? She gets in the ring, she tells the ref to take off his shirt and give it to her, and she just puts on the ref's shirt. So, like, oh, she's ref now, I guess? Sure.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the refs wear another shirt under their shirt, by the way. That's weird.
Right, who does that?
But so they start the match, and they had Sonya Deville is fucking hilarious as the obviously fucked ref. Like, she literally just doesn't pay attention to the match, as Charlotte does all the cheatingest things in the world. Like,
Right.
Naomi at one point starts to pin Charlotte after hitting the fucking rear view, which is such a stupid move. And Sony just doesn't bother to start counting at all, just ignores her.
But did they do the video game? Did they do the video game rules where Sonya Deville got looked at like harsh, and then she fell over for 10 minutes?
Nah.
They should have.
Yes, actually, kind of a little bit. Yeah, at one point she accidentally got hit. I forget by Charlotte or Naomi. Went over the top rope to ringside and took like a fucking hour to get up. So yes, actually,
Nice.
They had one great bit where
I like keeping the rules consistent.
Yeah.
If you were the black and white, you got to get knocked out of the slightest gust of wind.
There was one bit that I thought was just hilarious, which was Charlotte has Naomi locked in the figure 4 headlock, right? She's got her legs wrapped around her head and all that. And it's a submission hold, so you're supposed to go and check on the person putting the hold, right? Now, Sonya just goes over and checks on Charlotte and asks, hey, you okay? Everything good? All right. And she just walks away.
Nice.
And then by the end of it, like after she gets thrown out of the ring, Sonya gets so pissed that the instant Charlotte like just starts to like slightly wrap up the legs for the figure 4, Sonya immediately calls the match and says, yeah, Naomi tapped. And Naomi didn't even start to move. And I thought it was great because it wasn't stupid, because she goes backstage, and as soon as she gets backstage, Adam Pearce and Eric Bischoff both come up and tell her, hey, yeah, WWE management thought that was some bullshit you just pulled there. We're going to go ahead and have a match between you and Naomi at Royal Rumble where she gets to kick your ass as punishment. Deal with it, bitch. And I thought that was great. The WWE management not being entirely incompetent and being like, okay, that was some bullshit. Sonya Deville beat for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bischoff is here because they're doing the second invasion angle.
Yeah, Bischoff honestly just shows up, and he's like, oh, it's great to be on SmackDown. And Bischoff, by the way, 66 years old, looks a lot worse. I was not expecting Bischoff to look as ancient as he does now. His neck is gone.
Right.
He's turning into a thumb. And
but
he looked good for a while there, and then it's like a decade or so just immediately caught up with him, and now he's looking kind of rough.
Eric Bischoff is suffering the Asian grandma effect.
I like that sentence. Eric Bischoff is sus.
Yeah, he is. He is admittedly pretty sus. Anyways, Eric Bischoff, 60 years of not aging, and then it suddenly hit him like a shotgun blast. So, yeah, Eric Bischoff comes on. He's like, oh, yeah, it's great to be on SmackDown. And Adam Pearce is like, I'm so honored. Oh, there's no one's word I trust more. And I said to my family, I don't think I'd say that about the guy who sunk WCW. And then, you know, honestly, what it was Eric Bischoff just showed up to be with Adam Pearce when he reamed Sonya Deville. And that's it. Okay, bye, Eric. What? Why?
Why not? They should do a gimmick where like where they have like a guest GM, and they just suck at their job, and they keep like getting best GMs to try and advise them, but they always choose the like worst people. So like they call him Heyman to give financial advice. They call in like freaking they call in Nash to give like freaking advice on how to properly book feuds.
Russo for writing.
Yeah, Russo for writing. They call in Teddy Long.
Jeff Jarrett for who should be champion, Jeff? Me!
Yeah. They call in Teddy Long on advice for how many tag matches there should be on one night.
To be fair, that wasn't actually Teddy's fault. He just had to be someone else's.
Yeah, no, it wasn't his fault, but it is I think he's most memorable for that and the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Which also wasn't his fault.
Speaking of Jeff Jarrett, oddly enough, So they have a segment where it's Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura walking through the hallways, and they're doing their thing. Shinsuke Nakamura looks like he's having a seizure, and Rick Boogs is going like, "I'm Rick Boogs," you know. And suddenly they both go like, "Oh, holy shit!" Looking at something that's off screen, and they're in Nashville, so it's Jeff Jarrett, right?
No.
Yeah, I didn't even know Jeff Jarrett was on
down.
speaking. I didn't even know Jeff Jarrett was on speaking terms with WWE. I was confused for a second there.
But
Hey, he actually patched things up a year or two ago when he got inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Isn't Jeff?
And he's not done anything stupid yet.
Isn't Jeff still
surprisingly
Global Force?
No, Global Force is dead.
Oh,
as it should be.
It wouldn't matter anyways, because I mean, with Mickey James and Summer Rae there, they're dating. Now it's just like, fuck it, just bring in whoever.
Right.
Oh,
we do what we want now.
I'll get to what I was about to say in a second, but I want to go ahead and say they come up and Rick Boogs is like, "Oh my God, it's Jeff Jarrett," and Shinsuke Nakamura doesn't speak English, so he's just kind of having seizures in the background to indicate Jeff Jarrett, like his special language, his Nakamura-ish language.
Yeah, I mean, Nakamura does an interpretive dance to imply the existence of Jeff Jarrett.
Yes. Either he is speaking to Jeff Jarrett or he's saying we will all die in 7 days. I'm not a master of this language. I'm not fluent yet. So they go and they talk to Jeff Jarrett, and Jeff Jarrett's like, "Hey, you got a guitar, huh? That's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I remember back in the day I used a guitar. What's your name, son?" "My name is Rick Boogs." Well, you need to throw a little more something on it. Rick Boogs, you said? Yeah, and they start talking about something. I don't even remember what, because I was talking with my mom about Jeff Jarrett, because she used to be like a nuts Jeff Jarrett fan when she was a kid, and then she grew out of it, thank God.
Thank God.
And like they were in the middle of a conversation, and it wasn't even like it was supposed to be that they were drowned out conversation where they like start murmuring off and it fades off, right? No, active conversation, just immediate jump cut to the Usos entrance.
Nice.
I mean, like
we'll never know what happens now.
It did not look intentional. It looked like someone in the editing booth fucked up. It looked like it looked like either the Usos came out way too early for their entrance, or the Rick Boogs Jeff Jarrett segment went on way longer than intended. Because it honestly was not a fade cut at all. They were still in the middle of a conversation where the mic was clearly picking them up. They were in the foreground. And just the Usos. Okay, what?
They started talking about Chris Benoit.
Okay, so here's the other thing I wanted to say. It's something I forgot about the intro. At the very beginning, when Rollins and Roman were cutting that promo and all that, Rollins was saying, "Well, hey, Roman, you've never managed to do anything on your own, even way back when it was you, me, and Mox doing stuff." And I honestly went, "What?" at the top of my lungs when I heard him say Mox.
Right. Not Dean, not Ambrose, just Mox.
So, like, I have to ask, because I've not been around for a while, was that shoot or was that a work shoot? Or did Rollins just screw up?
It's honestly hard to say. I don't see Rollins being the kind of guy to make that kind of mistake, because he's been around long enough. He's been at the top to know what he's doing. So I'm thinking probably work shoot. If not just straight up work, nothing shoot about it. Because it's nice that they're actually acknowledging history. They tend to forget to do that a lot. But I don't imagine that there were any slip-ups there or that it was completely unintentional. I think he had the go-ahead, or if not, just flat out told, go mention the Shield. So it's like, okay, that's what I'm going to go do. And that is what he did.
It's more so than the Shield. It's not calling him Ambrose, calling him Mox. Like, WWE always act as if they don't have competition. And they just referred to the other company's top star, one of their top stars, not by WWE's name for him, but by AEW's name for him.
Very true. And that's a sticky part that I kind of don't understand.
It's because the Monday Night Wars are back on.
Oh, if only.
I mean, yeah, exactly, if only. I imagine either Vince was not told about this or Vince was having conniptions backstage, because that is so not Vince to acknowledge competition in the modern era. I mean, I would love to see these two just start blasting each other.
What if Vince sells the WWE and then debuts in AEW?
Well, he might like the challenge, honestly. He wouldn't live long enough to see the fruits of it, but
his entrance is blowing out his quads.
I'm not sure Vince isn't already dead.
That those Austin Theory segments, it does look like they're kind of
Hunter and Stephanie are doing weekend at Vince's.
Yeah. Oh man, that's just so bizarre to see that. Like, to hear that, excuse me. Like, has WWE acknowledged AEW in any way since AEW started? Like,
I'm sure they have at some point. I feel like this isn't the first time somebody's gone off the rocker and been like, oh my god, they mentioned something that AEW did. I feel like they definitely mentioned CM Punk a while back when he was hot news. But I will have to look back through the archives on that one.
It's just weird, though, because like we're in that mode where by now everyone's assuming Vince is just looking to sell the company. So I'd assume they'd want to do things as safely as possible. And if somebody backstage was like, hey, what if we had a segment where he refers to Ambrose as Moxley? Then somebody from the corporate types would have said, fucking no. Matter of fact, cut out the reference to him altogether. Just have it be Rollins and Roman. There was never a third Shield member, right?
A third Shield member does not exist.
It was always a double, triple power bomb.
Yeah. So anyways, yes, the main event was, yes, Rollins and Owens versus the Usos. And it was kind of fun to watch because my dad went to bed by that point, but it was fun to watch because my mom does not like Rollins because he's got a slimy look to him. And Owens is kind of a fatter guy, so also not a lot of confidence in them. But it was fun to have a little experience where she got to see both of them wrestle and actually like, oh, no, actually, these guys are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Why does Kevin Owens do the Stone Cold Stunner now?
I have no idea. It's been like a year or two. Maybe even 3. I still don't know why.
I think he started.
It just sort of happened.
I think he started doing it when Cena started doing the springboard stunner.
No, because that was before Owens.
Cena started doing the springboard stunner around the time I stopped watching, so about 2015.
Yeah. And Owens didn't debut on the main roster until 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's been doing stunners in NXT too, although I'm not sure.
No. I'm very confident that I've seen every NXT match he had. I don't recall him ever doing a stunner down there. To my immediate recollection, that may or not be correct, is that Owens did it at a house show. Then he got a mention from Stone Cold on Twitter. And so he continued to do the stunner again just to get a rise out of Austin, obviously. So they had their little back and forth banter on the interwebs. And then eventually it just kind of de-escalated to a point where Austin was like, yeah, kid, do the stunner. Do the stunner. I love the stunner. Of course you want to do the stunner because it's a great move. Do the stunner. And so now he does the stunner. No explanation on TV for why he does a stunner, but I feel like that's the extent of it.
I feel like there are some moves that should just kind of be banned as finishes, right? People see the stunner, they are not going to think, oh, that's Kevin Owens' finish. No, they're going to think, oh, why is Kevin Owens doing the Stone Cold Stunner?
Right.
If someone started doing the atomic leg drop as a finish, they'd be going, why are they ripping off Hulk Hogan?
No, really, what people should be doing is they should be doing the X-Bomber.
Do you remember when they had, like, they were sick of Seth Rollins doing the curb stomp, and they had Seth Rollins for a while use the pedigree as his finish?
Yeah. And it looked terrible.
Yeah, it was so fucking lame because it's like, that's just Hunter's finish. Get him to do something else.
Right?
Let Rollins do a Tiger Driver.
There are some moves that's like, wait until the guy's fucking dead before you start using it as your own finish, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there are some moves that are just too associated with some people.
Yep.
I mean,
That being said, Rollins
too
should
is
use
that,
a frog splash full time. That is a thing of beauty, and I love it. And I need him to do it more.
The trouble is, there's so many people that do the frog splash as a tribute.
It is unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah. He won't be unique for doing it, that's for certain.
Very true.
But yeah, the thing is, like, there are finishes that are very much freaking like associated with certain wrestlers, but at the same time, there are some moves, not many of them, but there are some moves where you can put a bit of flair into it and make it your own. Because like we have the cutter. There's been 4 wrestlers that I can think of that use the cutter, but they all had their own version of it that made it special. Because like we have the RKO, we have the diamond cutter, we have the Bubba cutter, and then we also have freaking John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace. Yeah, that was his name. The Ace cutter.
Nobody's ever seen Johnny Ace hit the cutter. That's a myth.
Can I just say, I wasn't around for any of the Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson stuff, but did Carl Anderson seriously just straight up fucking use the RKO as his finish too?
New?
Why do they always give it to him in the games then?
Did I mishear? Are you talking about Carl Anderson or Luke Gallows? Because Luke Gallows has never hit a cutter in his life. It was Anderson.
I'd say Carl Anderson.
Okay, I guess my brain misinterpreted that as Luke Gallows. I imagined
I might have said Gallows.
Like 7-foot Gallows hitting a cutter. I'm like, what? That sounds stupid. Yeah. Anderson did the cutter back in New Japan. He never did it on WWE television, and yeah, that's why he has a cutter in game, and
so it's just
hit it on television.
It's just the WWE game designers being
yeah.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Why'd they give him a new RKO animation then?
I don't know, but it looks sick. I like it.
Okay. Yeah, the RKO is another one I'm going to go ahead and say, like, doing a jumping cutter should be off limits. That's Randy's move.
Absolutely. Randy Orton perfected that. Nobody's allowed to touch that. No.
I'll be honest, there's one that's really funny to me. Anytime Kenta does the go to sleep, I'm like, hey, that's Punk's move. But like, Kenta did it before Punk did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will always think of the
magic of influence in television in the WWE.
I mean, the best part is whenever AJ Styles does Michelle McCool's finish.
Oh no. Here's another one, and again, this one might be that he did it before him. Anytime Sting did the fucking reverse pile driver, I was like, why is Sting doing the tombstone?
Yeah.
I don't know if he did it first.
Who did? Because Taker didn't use the tombstone at first. He used the choke slam at first as his finish.
Right. And I wouldn't know the answer to that either, because those are 2 careers that I'm not too familiar with. 2 guys that I'm not a big fan of, to be quite honest. So I have no idea when Taker started using his tombstone. I have no idea when Sting started wrestling. So still waiting on that, actually.
But how can you not like Sting? He's the man called Sting.
He is a man called Sting.
He does this and he does that. Wasn't that the lyrics?
But does he though? I don't know.
I feel like that's the lyrics. Like it's this like 80s action hero music.
I get the feeling Pink's holding back a rant desperately right now.
Maybe.
No, I just wanted to listen to Police right now.
But you always want to listen to the Police, Pink.
Fair enough.
This one is a bit of a strange one. I think it's fair for modern wrestlers to use the camel clutch as a finish, but every time I see a wrestler like Rusev or Scott Steiner use the camel clutch as a finish, I just think of Sheik, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, whenever anybody does a camel clutch, they should make you humble.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most
humble.
guys who use a camel clutch, they acknowledge that, yeah, nobody sees that move without thinking the Sheik.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I haven't seen Rusev do the, like, clutch, but I mean, when Sheik was doing the clutch in his prime, he made it look damn good, and it's hard to think of someone trying to do it better, you know?
Yeah.
Either which way, yes, the main event. Oh, okay, so yeah, they did all that. It was a very inconsistently paced match. Started off very slow. You know, the Usos push Rollins to the corner and they start stomping a mud hole on him. Okay. Then they bring him up out of the corner and Rollins pushes one of the Usos to the corner and him and Owens start stomping a mud hole on him. And then I forget who, but then they went for a third mud hole stomp spot. And boy, that made me realize I don't fucking like the mud hole stomp spot.
No.
It's real fucking lame.
It is.
Which, I mean, God forbid I suggest that Steve Austin may have had a lame moveset, you know.
Unheard of.
Yeah,
I'll need some evidence for that bold proclamation.
No, well, you know, I can't cite much. Just every match he ever had. I hope that there's one wrestling mark who tunes into this podcast just now for his first episode, and he gets to this part and hears us dunk on Steve Austin there and just, like, leaves us a very mean comment. Oh, could you say this?
Thumbs down, negative comment, unsubscribe, even though they weren't. They subscribed just to unsubscribe.
Yeah. They just double-click the button.
Go into the comment section. Actually, Steve Austin was a very capable wrestler before Owen Hart broke his neck. I'll have you know.
I'll have you know he practiced all of his moves on his wife.
I know.
Just go back and watch his Ringmaster days when he did the exact same move.
Go watch his WCW matches. Those are so great.
Although
the ones where nobody
tag team with Pillman wasn't the highlight of that.
We have to admit that before he became Stone Cold, it was kind of weird when he started flipping the bird during matches.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think I'm one of the few here, actually. I freaking love Stone Cold, but his matches, no.
I used to hate him, but like I'm more or less fine with him now because he's kind of turned himself around as a person and seems a lot better.
Yeah, very true.
And I appreciate like the Stone Cold gimmick and the promos, but I will 100% say while I find it entertaining, it's not because Steve Austin's a particularly talented guy. It was the right gimmick at the right time, and Austin just happened to be the man under the mask. Right?
Yeah, and he had the charisma to carry it as well.
They could have put that gimmick on fucking any of the other mid-carders in WWE around the time, and it would have fucking worked.
I don't know, the Blue Meanie.
The Blue Meanie was pretty mean, though.
I've not seen many Blue Meanie matches, but I'd almost believe that the fat redneck kicking everybody's ass could have actually worked on some regard.
It would definitely have worked in some capacity. If any time was right for it, that was the era.
What were we even going to talk about with Austin?
We were just talking about the main event and the mud hole stomping.
Right, yes, okay. So, yeah, and then the match goes from very slow to, like, incredibly fucking fast, rapid fire, which, on one hand, they threw out some cool-ass moves. On the other hand, it's like, I have lost track of what's happening. Everybody's everywhere, doing everything all at the same time. I imagine the referee is just spinning in circles like, oh, God, I can't. What's happening?
What do I do?
One thing I have to absolutely fucking throw out there, Seth Rollins has thrown out the only suicide dive I've seen in the last 10 years that looked like it could actually hurt somebody. Like, the suicide dive is the most worked bullshit move you see in wrestling nowadays. And Seth Rollins did a suicide dive to both Usos, and it looked like he genuinely was trying to hit them, rather than just generally going for kind of a diving hug.
That's a relief.
He slammed himself full force into both of them. with like remarkable agility. And goddamn, Seth Rollins can get some air when he jumps. Damn, he's athletic.
That dude is scary good at what he does.
Yes.
You know, anytime I think I've seen the best he has to offer, he whips out something new, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That is an insane athlete, and I don't know how he does it. I don't know how long he'll be able to do it for, but good on him. It's incredible.
Yes. And Kevin Owens has always been, with Kevin Owens, it's always the impressive thing is he moves very well for a fat guy. And so it's Kevin Owens. He moves very well for a fat guy.
Right. That's the man we got there.
He's not nearly as fat as he used to be, though. So I gotta say, it's kind of declined a little bit.
Right. You're not fat anymore, so you're not impressive anymore. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Go collect your pink slips at the front of the office.
Back in the old pro wrestling gorilla days when he had that like prominent gut that you could see under the shirt, you know.
Right.
But then he'd do 450s for some reason.
Soft landings.
Just to still be impressive, he needs to start busting out power drivers again.
Oh no. He does. He hints at it. He plays with the audience a little bit. He has that one move that's the fake out package pile driver, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I will say there was a very funny moment where when Kevin Owens first got in the ring, I said to my mom, like, "Hey, yeah, Kevin Owens. I loved this guy when he was on the Indies. He's a big guy, but he's real agile. He used to do 450s, but I doubt that he lets him do it." And as I was saying that, he started getting up on the turnbuckle and then did a swanton, and it was like, oh. Well, I guess they still let him do some stuff. And I gotta say, that one looked brutal, because I forget which Uso was on the receiving end, but he stuck up his knees for the counter, right? And yeah, Owens just honestly swanton bombed onto his knees, and it looked horrible for Owens' back. It looked legit.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things you can do to mitigate the damage you feel in that kind of maneuver. I don't imagine.
Yeah, it's that's one thing. Like the Usos, I'll complain about the Usos because I think they're boring in the ring. I think they're boring on promos. I think they got a boring gimmick. I don't think they have any cool moves. Yada yada yada. But they do make it look legit, and they're willing to do legit moves and take legit moves, which works out well when they're put with someone who can actually wrestle a lot better than they can, like Rollins and Owens or the New Day.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. Yeah, Shotgun, like, way too fucking fast wrestling. Like, there wasn't much of a storyline here, is one thing I'll say. They could have had some fun with the storyline being, like, the Usos are an established tag team. They work well together, while Rollins and Owens aren't really a tag team. They're just here because Rollins wants his title opportunity, and Owens, I think, wanted to beat on the Usos for some past grievance. I don't even remember. But no, it's just shotgun, rapid-fire wrestling. Like, at first, everybody slow it way down, build up. Okay, everybody get your spots in, right?
Right.
And then how the match goes is Rollins hits a big move on the Usos. I forget what, probably a fucking super kick, because everybody does fucking super kicks nowadays. I'm sick of the fucking super kick.
Super kicks and suicide dives.
Like, it's like, suicide dives were garbage to begin with, but super kick is like an example of, like, not every meal needs to be dessert. I love a good super kick. The super kick's a really cool move when, like, Shawn Michaels does it, but when everyone on the roster is doing super kicks, the super kick isn't special anymore, you know?
Yep.
So it looks like Rollins is going to get the pin, and Roman Reigns slides in and Superman punches him out of nowhere. And it's like, okay, and then disqualification victory goes to Rollins and Owens, so the Usos don't get to be at the Royal Rumble. Like, Roman, you fucking moron. Like, even if the Usos would have lost, you could have just stayed out of the match and it would have had the same result. You didn't have to get in there.
But now you've made it personal.
And Roman, as he's walking from the ring, has an expression on his face like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Fuck.
Yeah, my bad, fam. My bad.
Yeah, it's just, like, and he's pissed that he made the mistake, which is good, because the good thing Roman didn't go for the facial expression of, oh, I fucked up, because that looked stupid. But he was able to play it off a little bit more like, oh, damn, I let my anger get the best of me, which was all right. but it still came across as making Roman look like an idiot. Overall, pretty solid show. Pretty solid matches. Solid build-ups mostly. Worst spot of the show. Okay. Well, you know what? I'll start saying this every time I talk about SmackDown. Worst spot of the show. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. Ew. Best spot of the show. Even though having a championship contendership match where the champion is actually involved is stupid, I will say Naomi versus Charlotte. Between the massive pop Naomi got and how good Sonya Deville was at being an entirely biased referee, like I'd say, like altogether, that was probably the best part of the show.
Nice.
So I mean, when you got Charlotte versus Naomi, you know you're going to be in for something good.
Absolutely.
All right, so there we go. That's SmackDown for the week, and that took fucking forever. God damn. We got to. I don't want to say this because I need to save up data for Warhammer 3 because Warhammer 3 is going to be 120 fucking gigabytes. Holy shit. On the 17th. But, like, we got to at some point look into getting some kind of wrestling podcast together, you know?
Absolutely.
We could invite Ted and Muda and Mike and they'd all have a lot of fun and they can all be old and bitch, you know?
All crotchety.
Yeah. But they'd all the wonderful thing about those three is they bring different varieties of crotchety, right?
This is true.
You know, any given episode, you're either going to hear Ted say he hates fat wrestlers, and the other two bitch him out about that. Muda says he hates anything that isn't the territories, and the other two bitch him out about that. Mike can complain about there being, like, what was it? I don't know. Mike can say he likes some wrestlers, the other two are thinking are garbage, and they can complain about that. And, you know, could be fun. Who knows?
Yeah.
Regardless. Shut your mouth, mounge. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
I actually did remember one last thing that I did this week, by the way.
What was that?
So
What'd you do?
let's see if I can get, because there is a picture. Yes, it should be in the text. One of them. I'm not sure. It's
I went to open up Discord and it started to open up Steam. That's not right.
nice.
Yeah.
Why is this not uploading? All right, give me a sec while I try to get freaking technology. Yeah, there it is. Technology.
Aha.
It worked.
Oh, all right.
So yeah,
Is that foam?
yes. So
I like
No,
foam.
Addie's an excellent snow carver, Pink.
Oh, that explains so much.
yeah. That's
Addie
how
was able to defy the laws of physics and make snow stand up like that without anything under it.
Yeah, that's how my knee got dislocated. It died. The snow fell on it.
That sounds brutal.
But yeah,
You're gonna have to stage a comeback and beat the snow at Royal Rumble.
yeah. No, not Royal Rumble. I thought the Elimination Chamber because I want to appear on the same show as Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah. But you got to get the GM to make the match first. So how you're going to do it is you're going to come out and beat the guy up you're going to come out and beat Snow up with a steel chair first. Then they'll make the match.
Yeah. And then just to do like the biggest disrespect, I come out to its team, which is Informer. But yeah, so I started working on a fursuit. It's
Yeah.
experienced. This is trash. The thing I sent you a picture of is literally the first go at this. So like this won't actually be what I'm gonna be using. It was just necessary as a step to actually get there eventually.
Practice.
Prototype.
Yeah. And so I learned things. Like for example, I should have gotten maybe I should have gotten like thicker foam, like even thicker foam, which is a shame. Because like even like this, like I got a really good deal on foam. Because like I wanna say that I don't remember how big of a thing or serving of foam it was, but like when we were searching for foam, I found foam for like $100, and we got it for a lot cheaper than that. So
Yeah.
and I don't really feel like expending more money on foam. So hopefully, whatever I have, it will be able to work fine.
Yeah.
Because like I also did the math. Yeah, I know. I did the math too, but that's unrelated. But no, I did the math relating to the fur part as well, and just that part will probably also be $100, which is a lot.
Cool.
Which is a lot, but
Cool.
then you have to consider like a fursuit, commissioning a fursuit from someone costs somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000 at least. So yeah. So by doing my own trials and shit, like it's gonna look shit at first, and it will cost a lot, but it will cost a lot less than actually hiring someone who knows what they're doing somehow.
Yeah.
So it's just something that has to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, once like noticeable improvements are made, I will I guess post freaking updates, and that's about it.
All right. Do we want to go ahead and wrap it up then?
Sure.
How do you say
I'm
bye?
good to wrap.
How do you say bye? 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 I think that last one got so nasty that the Discord was like, no, I'm not broadcasting that.
I heard it. Bye.